Okay, perfect. Are you in academia or home? Today I'm at home. Okay, perfect. Are you in academia or home? Yeah, the recording is going on. For safety purpose, should I record on the computer as well? No, let me rely on. For safety purpose, I put the recording on local as well. Okay, let's start now. So, hi guys, how are you all? The same repetition. I know you're all going to feel that the chat is going to be. But if I make the chat to everyone, now can I share publicly? Like you should not be able to message personal. Let me see blocking personal. Is it allowing personal now? Is it allowing personal? Personal means you can send to your friends as well. No, no, it's not sure. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so you all wanted to get some breathe breathing help. So you all were like suffocating alone. No? So I gave you the chance now to open your mouth and speak. Anyways, let's start. Finally. How can I get the logic gates recording? Okay, the last year recording. Um, what's the message to this number? You didn't say it. I actually said that. You did not hear. When I was connecting to YouTube, I was saying. Okay, let's start all of y'all now. So, hi, hello, vanakkam. Welcome to. It sounds so weird to tell like that. Is it how much? So, yeah, let's jump into the content directly. Okay, without wasting time already. We have spent around 20 minutes. So, today's session, we are going to discuss. I said, if I normally if there is salam, I reply salam. Y'all, none of y'all told me salam today. That's why I could not reply. You very well know. See, you didn't tell salam, no. Anyways, come back to the point. Okay, walaikum salam. Because I'm telling you all again, telling. That's very illegal. Okay, yes, walaikum salam. Let's start. Now we can see some audio. Yeah, that's because now I'm starting to speak. All this time I was just replying to the messages. But yeah. So what do you call for those who are all of here, those who are here? I have shared the PDF we're going to discuss as well. We're going to discuss a paper. And yeah, I said walaikum salam for all of you only. So we are going to focus on the part two paper, not the part one today, because we don't have enough of time to discuss both. Suppose, let's say we have time. I doubt, very rarely there will be extra time. But suppose if there's extra time, then yes, I'll discuss the part one paper as well. Okay. Anyways, before we dive into the teaching, there are some things I want to let you all know. So I'll just inform you of that as well. So you all know when it comes to your term test exam, now some of you all might be familiar with this format. Majority of you all might not sometimes. When you take your paper, I don't know how was it until grade 9, but from grade 10 onwards, how it works is you have two parts in your paper. Okay. The part 1 and the part 2. How many marks does the part 1 carry? Those who have done the paper or those who have done similar papers, you all might know how many marks the part 1 carries. How much? Let's see if you all know. Good. 80? Well, where do you get 80, man? Your dreams. Yes. Part 1 carries 40 marks and part 2 the remaining, which is 60 marks. Okay. This is how your paper is made. Now, if you take your part 1, you will have only MCQ questions. MCQ means the multiple choice questions, which is underlining questions. So you'll have 40 questions. Each question is going to carry 1 mark each. It's completely MCQ, right? And if you take a part two paper, mostly how the marks is how the 60 marks is formed is you'll have to do 5 questions. No, Shadi, it's not like that. Okay, for the part two, you have to do 5 questions. Okay, where the first question is compulsory. In a part two paper, the first question is a compulsory question. In this compulsory question, you will have 10 short questions. Like for example, if you look at this paper here, you can see the first question is that in this first question, there is 10 short questions, like 10 small questions. These 10 questions can be from mixed lessons. It can be from various lessons mixed and it can come. So you'll have in the first question, you'll have 10 questions, right? Under the first question, you'll have 10 questions. Each of those questions carries 2 marks. So first question will give you 20 marks. 2 times 10, 20 marks. Then in your first term paper, it depends. Mostly if you take your first term paper, you might get only 5 questions in total. Okay. But depends on your school. But normal standard method is the normal papers method is you'll have 7 questions in total. Question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, question number 5, question number 6, and question number 7. Now, if you all can remember a while ago, I told you all are supposed to do only 5 questions, where the first question is compulsory. And to make it 5, from these, you have to choose 4 questions. You don't have to do all of them. You just have to choose 4 questions from them. So each question you choose will carry 10 marks. So the marks here will be 4 times 10, which is 40 marks. You must go 1 half paper. So in your school, if your hours are less than all, then that means the format will vary. But the standard method of doing the paper is this, okay? Where you get 60 marks from part 2, 40 plus 20, and 40 marks from part 1. So again, keep in mind, this 40 marks we have for MCQ, and then these first questions 20 mark. These two are compulsory questions. You can never skip them. But these question number 2 to question number 7, sometimes you might get only 4 questions, sometimes you might get only 5 questions. So some second term onwards it will be proper, but first term sometimes they might have the number of questions less. Okay. But yeah, leaving that thing aside, just keep in your mind you have to choose only 4 questions. Don't waste your time and do all the questions unwantedly. Okay, let's start now. I just want to give you all a rough idea of the paper because nothing, you will go for the paper and you will be like, whoa, there's 7 questions and I had to finish the whole 7 questions in 2 hours and you're going to get frustrated. That's why. They reduce the number of hours, sad life. Okay, let's start discussing now. When we are doing this paper, one thing I want to let you all know is when you compare the papers, questions, and the lessons we have done in the class. So I hope you all know in the class we have completed on the first lesson, and second lesson we are almost done. There's a small part to be done. Okay, so I told you all in the class before the first term test, there's a less chance that I'll be done with the third lesson. So when we are doing the paper today, we'll have third lesson's questions as well. So I will discuss all those questions as well as it is. Don't worry. Okay. If you do all the questions, will they give marks? If you do all the questions, then out of these, they'll choose the highest 4. Depends on your school, but mostly what they'll do is out of all these questions, if you do everything, they'll choose the highest 4, like the 4 questions that has the highest marks, highest 4 questions. Okay, that's the usual way. Okay, let's start now. First question: name 2 coding symbols printed on a label of a product to get more details about that particular product. Okay. Normally, when you're buying certain products, you can see sometimes, like if you go for a supermarket and you buy those products, you might take that product and you might give it for the cashier, and the cashier might scan some symbols. What is that symbol they'll scan and identify what this product is? Perfect. Okay. So we call that code. Okay, that symbol, we call that symbol as barcode. Okay. Tell me, apart from barcode, what are some other symbols certain products have to identify them? Not much, Nazila. Yes, in books you have ISBN number. What else? ISBN code is there. What else? Perfect. In certain other products, you can also find QR codes. ISBN is mostly a number, so ISBN is normally represented in QR. So I'll ignore ISBN and let's write here barcode and QR code. Okay, those are two codes which you can step. ISBN stands for International Standard Book Number. It is if you take storybooks and all, every storybook, every story, not every storybook, every story has a unique number. Okay, it's not every book, every story. So, for example, let's say you have three Harry Potter books, same story. If all three books have the same story, then all three books will have the same number called ISBN number. It's like a number printed at the back of the books, just like a QR only. So just like the barcode only. But normally barcode for every product will have different barcode. ISBN not for every book. Instead, it's for every story. Okay, so this is how the ISBN looks like. Clear, Mister? Okay, if you have any questions, drop in the chat. So yeah, these are the two answers here. So mostly if you wrote these kind of answers, you get 1 mark each, total 2 marks there. Second question. The second question they're saying, information obtained by processing data is used in decision making. Such information should be of good quality. So name four characteristic of the quality information. Okay, I'll explain this first. Normally, if you take this thing called information, to form information, you need something. What do you all need? To form information, what do you need? Exactly. Good job. You all need something called data. So using data, we can form something called as information. Okay, using data, we can form something called as information. Now, any information you hear, you can't call that as a good quality information, right? For you to call something as a good quality information, there are certain characteristics that information has to have. Like for example, for example, if I come and tell you all the president of Sri Lanka is, let's say, Maithripala Sirisena, is that information correct for today? Let's say I'm writing a speech. In my speech, I have written a sentence say that the president of Sri Lanka is Maithripala Sirisena. Is that correct for today? No. But let's say if I take around 8 years back, if I have given a speech, in that speech, if I told, like let's say in 2018, I gave a speech. In that speech, I'm saying, okay, the president of Sri Lanka is Maithripala Sirisena. Then is my information correct? Yes. So you can see the same information and what time and in one time period it was correct, but in another time period it's wrong. Okay, or it's not what you call acceptable, right? So the information will get updated with time, and when you're collecting information, yes, when you're collecting information, you make sure you collect updated information. So tell me, what is the characteristic we call what is the characteristic that means this that the information has to be always updated? Like when you're taking an information, you always rely on latest information. What is that characteristic? Perfect. We call that as timeliness. Correct. We call that characteristic as timeless. So timeless means your information has to be updated. Okay. Second thing. Now, when I'm coming and giving you information, for example, let's say I have to give you I have to give you the, let's say I'm going to give you you're asking me what is my name. And when you ask me what is my name, let's say I'm going to tell my name is basically, um, what's my name? What can I give as my name? Let's see if someone asks me. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Anything apart from my name? Something different. Yeah, I forgot my own name. Something else. Oh, yeah. So let's say someone comes and asks me what is my name. And if I go and tell, okay, my name is Rizlan. Now, the answer I gave you, is it correct? Someone comes and asks me, what's my name? And let's say the answer I'm going to give is Rizlan. Is it correct? No, I'm not Rizlan. So how do we know? I mean, you all know my name. So using that information, tell me. Like, I'm not talking about that some other random person. Okay. Okay, exactly. So what do you call that information is wrong? So how do you call this characteristic that define that the information has to be correct? If you're sharing an information, for that information to be good quality information has to be correct. Yeah, I'm Tom Holland. No? Correct. Correct. That's called accuracy. Perfect. So likewise, there are some other characteristics as well. Timeliness, accuracy. One is something called relevancy. So relevancy is something like, for example, let's say if I come and ask you, let's say I'm coming and asking you something like how much marks you got for your exam. Okay. Now, obviously, let's say you came and told me, sir, I finished my exam. And if you come and ask me if I like, no, if you came and told, so I got all my exam marks. And if I'm coming and asking you, okay, what is your marks? Then in that case, mostly I'll be coming and asking you, what subjects marks? Let's say you came and told me, so exams all over, we got the marks. I'm going to come and ask you, okay, what is your marks? So probably I'm asking you what subject marks? ICT. So that time, if you come and answer me your Sinhala marks, or if you come and answer me your science marks or history marks, okay, in that case, is those marks relevant for me? No. So those information you give me are completely irrelevant. Okay. Only the ICT marks is going to be relevant for me. So that's where we used to call as relevancy. Then we have another characteristic called completeness. Okay. So for example, let's say I want to find out, okay, let's say I want to find out the what is the color majority of us like. Okay, let's say I'm reducing my speed and speaking when Humera is fast actually. Asked the grade 11s yesterday. I was rapping with them. I was speaking faster than that. Anyways, okay, we come back to the context. Okay. So let's say I want to find out what is the color majority of your like, right? So if I come and ask, let's say now in this class at the moment there are 51 people. Okay, there are 51 students. So if I want to find out what is the color majority of your like, okay, if I want to find what is the color majority of your like, then without collecting all 51 students, if I collect only 20 students, and out of those 20 students, if I find out the most common color, is that method of finding the answer correct? I want to find out what is the color majority of your like. But without asking or without considering all of your answer, I'm going to take only 20 people's answer and find. Is that correct? No. So that's what you call as completeness. Completeness is when you're forming the information, you need the data, right? That data you're collecting, you make sure you collect all the data, not only partial data. So collecting partial data is always going to lead to wrong information majority of the time. And then apart from this, timeness, accuracy, relevancy, completeness, there's one more as well. What is it? No. Yes, it's called cost effectiveness. So let me explain you that. Okay. Now, when you're going to collect information, I told you a while ago that without data you can't collect information. I told you without with only if you have data you can you can form the information. Now, for you to obtain this data, there are different ways. Like for example, let's say I'm asking you to give me a speech regarding Sri Lanka. Now, let's say in your speech, or let's say I'm asked to give me an essay regarding Sri Lanka. Now, you want to mention, let's say, what is the area of Sri Lanka, or you want to mention, let's say, what is the perimeter of Sri Lanka. You want to mention this in your answer. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to take a rope, or are you going to take a measuring tape and go around Sri Lanka and measure Sri Lanka? In your to find write the answer in the essay, are you going to take a measuring tape and go around Sri Lanka to find the area or perimeter? It'll be nice. It'll be like that this fellow. There's this fellow who walked around Sri Lanka, Xiaomi. Show me the view. It will be like that. You can go like that walking around Sri Lanka. Okay. Exactly. Okay. You will not do that. Obviously, you'll go and ask. Yeah, you will ask your Google or a ChatGPT. That's the place you're going to go and find the answer, right? So cost effectiveness is where when you're going to form the information, there are some data that has to be collected. No. So when you're collecting those data, try as much maximum possible not to waste the money to obtain those data. Because again, to what do you call it? People pay money to obtain data. Okay. I can show one thing example for you all. But if I show that example, one school will get harmed. So let me avoid it. I'll give you a very easy example. In your schools, you have these events, right? Okay. So in some events, they might give you all these sponsorship forms, no. So just sometimes go and see the sponsorship form. Okay. Don't go and tell anyone, okay? I'll show it, but don't tell anyone. Mama prashnagar nepa. That's the only requirement. Okay. See how eager you all are to see this, all this open. God bless fellows. Yeah, I'm blindly believing you all. I hope you all don't misuse the believing you'll have. Yes, Salma. But you called this is basically an Islamic day sponsorship form, okay? So if you look at the perks, why is the chat different? Because it's in a webinar, not in here. It's not in meeting. Can you see? Can you see a part called full event database? Half event database. You know what is the meaning of that? Yeah, what to do this? I know you're jobless, but yeah, fun. So when you say full event database and half event database, the meaning of that is full event database means everyone who attends this event, they're going to give their details. So it can be name, contact number, whatever details they have about the people who are attending. Their whole details will be getting. So you can pay 120,000, you can get their details. So half event database means not everyone's, but half of the people's data you can get. So your school sells data, they make money. You see? No, no, this is something else. Salma. Yeah, this is I think some day. Yeah. So the point is, I can't. I gave you a limited time. You should have seen it and figured it out. So the point is basically, okay, it's not Patana. Was it? Is it Patana? It did not look like Patana. Was it Patana? Yeah. It's mentioned at the bottom itself. Oh yeah, I didn't even notice it. Sorry. Yes, it's Patana. Don't go and tell anyone that I told this, but just focus here. So the point is basically what you called to obtain information. Sometimes you have to to obtain the data you have to pay, but you're not paying. You have to make sure you don't waste money. That's the idea. Okay. So there are certain things I can go to Google and take. So without going to messing around Sri Lanka and finding the area, best is to go to Google and take those basic data. Okay. So in this question, they're asking name for characteristics of the good quality information. So anything you mention there, you can mention how many? Yeah, out of these five, you can mention any four answers and you'll get the marks. Okay. I am just using Microsoft Edge, my browser. So yeah, the answer for the second question. You can mention here something like, I'm not going to mention the answer, I just mention it here. Okay. So question number two's answer. If you have any questions up in the chat, huh? Done. Third question. There are many high-tech machines in the health sector which helps people in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases. Name for such machines used in the health sector. Okay, let's go one by one. Tell me, in the health sector, what is the machine we have? We have two machines to scan the body. Okay. Out of these two machines, tell me which machine gives a very good clear image. Very good clear image. Like clear Pro Max. Correct. That's called the MRI machine. Apart from that, to scan your body or scan any part of the body, there is another machine as well. It gives you like an X-ray output, but not as like now. If you take the MRI machine, you can see nerves as well. In this machine, you can't see nerves. What is this machine? Let me show you the difference between MRI and CT. I have a picture. Tudun, 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 tudun. Okay, 3, 2, 2.1, 2 point. Done. So if you really want to know the difference of how these machines looks like, the output is how it works. Yeah. Yeah, it's there, Ushta. All of this is there. It's normal. So this is how the difference of X-ray, MRI, and CT would be. Okay. So yeah, we apart from the CT scan, the next machine, MRI machine, the next one we have is CT scan. Tell me, what is the machine we have in the health sector that is used to scan our body's, sorry, our heartbeat? If you want to capture the heart impulses, what is the machine we have? Perfect. That's called the ECG machine. Okay, ECG machine. No, cardiac screening does not scan the heartbeat. Cardiac screening machine scans the heart movement. Okay, so it can see the heart movement. That's what the purpose of cardiac screening is. Okay, so cardiac screening is not for heartbeat. Okay, so heart to see the heart moving. If you want to see how the heart is moving, you can use something called as a cardiac screening machine. Leaving this thing aside, what is the machine we use to scan the brain? The brain activity. Perfect. To scan the brain activity, we have the EEG machine. And apart from that, to scan the blood glucose level, we have something called a glucometer. Okay, we have something called glucometer. And then glucometer. To scan the blood pressure, we have another machine. Can you remember the blood pressure machine's real name? Sphygmomanometer. So it's S. I'm missing S. Yeah, sphygmomanometer. Sphygmomanometer. So these are the what you call devices we have, which you can use for the health sector. So out of these, if you mention anything, you're correct. Just make sure you know the purpose for everything. Like ECG is for heart, EEG is for brain, MRI, CT is for scanning the body, and MRI is molecular image, and glucometer check the sugar level, spirometer blood pressure. So the purpose also just keep in mind. By the way, if you have any questions, drop the chat. I'm going the flow. Is there anything that's a bit difficult? I'll explain. Huh? Name two advantages of USB flash memory over a DVD RW. Okay, so to store data, we have the USB flash drive. So USB flash drive means the pen drive. We call it pen drive killer. So USB flash drive means it's a pen drive. And then they have mentioned something called DVD RW. So DVD RW means DVD rewritable, which means you can enter data, erase data, enter data, erase data, like the normal movie series you'll buy from the shop. You can't modify the data there, or you can't enter new data, no. But if you buy this DVD RW, here you can put data inside the CD as well. You can delete whatever is there as well. Okay, so in both you can store data. The common thing between both these devices, you can store and delete data. But when you compare both of them, tell me what is small in size? What do you think is small in size? When you compare pen drive or a CD, what is small in size? Perfect. So one of the advantage of using the flash drive is correct. It is small in size. Okay. Apart from that, some other advantages when you compare the pen drives and DVD, they're asking the advantage of pen drive, right? Yeah. So another advantage is in terms of speed. If I have used both these devices, someday you almost had the experience when you compare them. pen drives are actually faster than DVD. Okay, so it you can mention faster in speed is another characteristic we have. Okay, apart from that, if you take pen drives and DVD, comparatively, which one is supported for majority of the devices? Like if majority devices, do they support entering pen drive, or does majority of the device have the ability to enter DVD? Perfect. The third advantage of pen drive is basically it supports many devices. Okay. Third advantage you can mention is supports many devices. These are the advantage we have in USB flash drive. Apart from that, are there anything else you all have? If you have any other answers, you can just cross check with me as well. So yeah, any of those kind of answers, if you had mentioned there, you'll get the answer correct. A quick question which is not relevant for this question. When we are learning about storage device, we learn that you can categorize storage devices, primary memory and secondary memory. Under secondary memory, we learn three categories. Okay, under secondary memory, we learn there's something called as magnetic storage device, optical storage device, and solid state device. So tell me, pen drives comes under which category? Now, both of them are solid state, so both of them are secondary storage. But under secondary storage, pen drives comes under which subcategory? Perfect. Pen drives comes under this category called as solid state device. Okay. So the main difference of how you can identify between solid state and others is in other device, there's some sort of a movement. Okay. For example, if you take DVD, when the DVD is running in the computer, it turns. You take hard disk as well. So this is how the hard disk looks like. If I open this sheet inside the hard disk, there will be a thing called platter. Like again, like a CD kind of thing is there inside that keeps on rotating. So if you take what you call optical storage device and magnetic storage device, there is some sort of movement in those devices. But if you take pen drives kind of devices, there is no movement, so it's a solid state device. Under what category does DVD comes under? Optical or magnetic? Correct. DVD, CD, DVD, and Lisa, I'm using different type of zoom here. That's why it's like that. Yes, DVD comes under optical storage devices. So these are answer here. Is there a big difference? I just want to join the phone and see how different. In laptop, I don't see a big difference, but yeah. Those are called optical storage device. Anyways, next question. Question number 5. Fill in the blanks A, B, C, D according to the classification of computer based on computer generation. Have they given options to choose? No. Okay, so let's talk about I talk about that. Okay, so when you compare what you call ABCD, I think they are mainly referring to the instrument used to process data. Okay, so you take the first generation computer. That's fine, Salma. What do you call it? When you compare the first generation computer, second generation, third generation, let's talk about what was used to process data. In first generation computers to process data, we use something called as vacuum tube. What did we use in second generation computers to process data? Perfect. In second generation computers, vacuum tubes were replaced by transistors. And then when we came to third generation, transistors were replaced by integrated circuits. And then in fourth computers, integrated circuits were replaced by something else. What was it? There was two actually. Okay, one thing is microprocessor. Apart from that, we have something called as very large scale integrated circuit. Okay, we have something called as large scale integrated circuit, and then very large scale integrated circuit, And apart from these two, there is something called as microprocessor also that was uh, devolved here. And then fifth generation ultra large scale integrated circuit. So regarding this computer generation, there's one thing you'll have to keep in your mind. When we went from the first generation to the fifth generation, here only four is mentioned, but there was we started from the first generation and we went to fifth generation now. When we went from first to fifth, there were some changes we can notice in the computers. One is there was a change in terms of speed. Second, there was a change in terms of storage capacity. Next, there was a change in terms of size. There was a change in terms of price. There was a change in terms of electricity consumption. And there was a change in terms of heat generation as well. Okay. Tell me what happened to the speed of the computer? Did it increase or did it decrease when we went from first to fifth? Increase or decrease? Up or down? Perfect. When we went from first generation to fifth generation, speed actually increased. What about the storage capacity? Perfect. That also increased. What about the size? Correct. Size also increased. Sorry. Size decreased. Okay, size decreased. What about the price? Perfect. The size, price, electricity, and heat generation, these all reduced. So keep that in your mind. Speed and storage increased, others all decreased. Okay, if you have any questions, drop in the chat. Let's go for the next one now. The next question we have, secondary storage device can be classified, I told you a while ago, under three main categories according to the technology. Name two of them and write one example for each. Okay, so let me just draw the full diagram here. So this is regarding the question number 6. Okay. When you take storage devices, initially we can categorize storage device into two categories. What are those primary two categories and the main two categories we can categorize storage device into? Perfect. The main two categories we can categorize is one is primary memory and the next one is something called as secondary memory. These are main two categories we can classify the storage device into. Okay. Then under primary memory, there are three examples we learned. One is RAM, one is ROM, and the third one is cache memory. Perfect. Under secondary storage device, we have three subcategories. One, two, three. Exactly. What are the three? One is magnetic media storage devices. Another we call as optical media storage devices. And the third category is solid state storage devices. Okay. And then some examples we have for magnetic storage devices. Tell me some examples we have for magnetic storage devices. Yes. For magnetic storage device, we have something called hard disk. Keep in mind there's two types of hard disk. One is HDD and one is SSD. So HDD comes under magnetic media, but SSD hard disk comes under solid state. Keep that in mind, okay? So apart from hard disk, we have something called as floppy disk. Another example we have is magnetic tape. So these are the example for magnetic media. For optical media, what are the examples we have? Correct. CD, DVD, and Blu-ray disc. And then for solid state, apart from SSD hard disk, what else we have? Correct. Pen drives, which means USB flash drive. And then we have memory card, also known as SD card. So keep in mind, memory card and SD card, both are same. So these are the examples we have. So out of these examples, if you mention anything, you'll be getting the marks there for that question. But have any doubts, drop in the chat. Let's go for the next one there. So you just have to write here two categories. Basically, out of I have mentioned all three categories in examples. Out of these three, you mention only two categories. We have hard disk, but do we have soft disk? I don't think so. Good question, but go and find it. There's nothing. Can we put gazettes for magnetic media? Cassette is an example for magnetic tape. So if your teacher is knowledgeable enough and she give marks, fine. It's an unwanted risk because cassette is an example for a type of magnetic tape. So the risk. If you hope that your teacher has knowledge and write the answer. Guys, now we're in the seventh one. Going to start. Next. There are two types of. Is that clear, Shaima? It's correct your answer. But the thing is, your teacher has to know that, okay, cassette means tape killer. That time he will not get the marks. But you can go and argue and get the marks. Hmm. And that will you go into the paper, Sahila. There are two types of data transmission media called guide and unguided. Actually, guided and unguided. Write two examples for each medium. Okay. So I think only Velavata has learned this under me, but yeah. So when you take these data transmission media, okay, that is to transmit data from one place to another, from one device to another, okay. When you want to send data from one device to another, you have to connect both the devices. No, without these two devices connected, you can't send the data. So let me call these as device 1 and device 2. Okay. Without connecting both these devices together, you can't share the data. So if both of these devices are going to be connected with a wired medium, that means both of them are connected using a wire, we call this as guided media. Okay. But let's say both of them are going to be connected using a wireless technology. Okay. If two devices are connected in a wireless way, we call this as unguided media. Is that clear, all of you? The difference between guided and unguided? Okay. So they're asking you basically the two types of transmission media for guided. Write two examples for each medium. Okay. So in terms of examples, you can mention here for guided media, the examples we have are that means for wires, we have to give basic different types of wires. Okay. So some examples you can mention are the normal wires, right? The normal wires, we call them as twisted pair cables. Okay. The normal wires you'll use in day-to-day purpose is there, right? For general purpose. Those normal wires we call like your phone charger cables all. That's called twisted pair cable. Kalam, what's up, me? And then there is this cable used in your TV antenna, right? From the antenna to come to the TV. We call that cable as coaxial cable. And then if you take internet cables, there is an internet cable that can transfer data very fast, which uses light actually. How do you call that cable as? Perfect. We call that as fiber optics cable. So these are the cables we have to transfer data in a wired way. So these are examples you can mention. Okay. And then for wireless with it, the unguided examples we have are one is there's something called radio waves. So for example, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, these are examples of data getting transmitted through something called as radio waves. Okay. So Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are examples for radio waves. So Wi-Fi and Bluetooth works with radio waves. Okay. Only Velavata has learned this for now. You all have not learned. Other Colon and online we didn't still learn. It's there in the second lesson, but that's why I told you there are certain parts which we have not learned. That's why I'm teaching you all here. Then Another example for unguided media we have is something called as infrared. If you take your TV remote, or else if you take AC remote, so between the TV remote and AC remote, the data is transferred using infrared. Hotspot is also radio waves. Okay. So in remotes and all, we use infrared. In majority of the remotes, TV remote, AC remote, all these remotes, we use infrared. And then apart from that, we have the next type of media we have is microwaves. Yeah, you can see that, Humira. And microwaves example we have is the satellite connection. Okay. Any form of satellite connections are done using microwaves. Tell me, do you all know any Wi-Fi, like for example, any Wi-Fi routers, without working using radio waves, they use microwaves? Anyone know? I'll give you a hint. That company is owned by Elon Musk. Yes. If you take Starlink Wi-Fi uses microwaves. It does not use radio waves. That's why Starlink is a bit fast and more powerful as well. Okay, so Starlink Wi-Fi, it uses there's Wi-Fi called Starlink. Okay, it's comparatively expensive, but that uses microwaves. Okay, so yeah, these are the examples we have. Blue color arrow, those are examples for guided media and unguided media. Just keep in mind these cables, your antenna cable, TV antenna cables are coaxial, and then fiber optics what is used in the Wi-Fi. Didn't you think of buying Starlink? I thought, but it's expensive. You buy and give me, I'll use it. And I can give you a proper connection. So yeah, these are the examples you can mention. If you had a doubt, drop in the chat. Huh? Same here. What to do? It's also done. How do you say that, Humera? I just told you a loss that happened in the class that I told you, right? A big loss that happened. Samidun today also I went to the courts for that. What to do? Not courts, but I went to the police station. Yeah, anyways. Not for free. Okay, come back to the context. Convert the following binary number into its equivalent hexadecimal number. Okay, this is regarding the third lesson, which you all have not learned it. So I'll give you a rough idea of this lesson. Not yet, Humera. Now, when you take computers, I mean, when you take numbers, okay, in maths, you all must have learning grade 9 that there is, apart from the normal numbers we use, the normal numbers we use, we call this decimal numbers. Huh? So apart from the normal decimal numbers, in maths in grade 9, you all learned a number system called binary, right? Okay. So apart from decimal and binary, there are two other number systems as well. One is called octal number system, and one is called the, yeah, even understandable. Other one is called the hexadecimal number system. Right. Now, decimal number system is made humans to use. By having computation, all the numbers we deal with, these numbers we call as the decimal numbers. Now, if you take decimal numbers, the digits we have in decimal numbers are from 0 to 9. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Using these numbers, you can form, I mean, using these digits, you can form any number. That's what decimal number is. If you take binary, tell me what are the digits we have in binary? Yeah, Shad, I'll be providing the recording as well. Welcome, Salam. Perfect. We're now learning grade 9 in maths. You'll have learned this basically. In binary, you must have learned as we have 0 and 1. So normally, if you take binary, this was a number system that was made for the computers. What else, Sahila? Computers. Because if you take computer or any electronic equipment, they have mainly two data transferred. One is on and off. So represent on, we use number 1, and represent off, we use a number 0. So the 0 and 1 was represented in using for computers. So there was a situation. What else, Fatima? You all are good. So what do you call when you take binary numbers, there was a problem that came. Earlier days, they used to write codes. Now, currently, we used to type codes now. So just like now we used to type codes, earlier they when they want to store the codes, they would write and only they would store it somewhere, right? So the problem that happened was sometimes the binary numbers are too long. Sometimes, for example, let's say we have a binary number like this. Din, 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 din. Kids, we have a very long number. Yeah, Saila. Okay. Yeah, Anushka, I was not saying for you, I was saying for the other Fatima. Anyways, so what do you call when you take a long binary number like this, okay, this is actually not very long. They used to write longer than this, right? Sometimes storing these numbers are very big. So what they were like is they were like, okay, without storing a number that's so huge, let's group three digits as one number. Let's group three digits as one number. Okay, and they shorten this number. So that shortened version of the numbers, like grouping three binary digits as one digit, three binary digits as one digit, and they form a number, right? That number system which they form is what we call as octal number. Okay, so for example, let's say we had a number like this, and let's say you want to find what is the octal number equivalent to this zero. Before I come to that, I'll tell you one more thing. Now, for example, if you take this number called 27, and if I ask you to find, like, how do you find the value of this number? If you all can remember, in your small grades, you all did something. You have multiplied 7 by 10 to the power 0 and 2 by 10 to the power 1. So anything to the power 0 is 1. So 7 times 1 and 2 times 10 to the power 2. So 10 to the power 1. That is 2 times 10. Okay. Now, if you all notice, in maths, you all must have learned, especially in your small grades, that this is called the ones place. And how do you call this place as? The second number. Hmm. Perfect. We used to call this as tens place. Suppose, let's say there was one more digit here. Then what would be the place value of that number? Correct. You will be calling that as a hundredths place. Correct. Okay. So what happens here is, okay, what happens is if you're wondering, how did they come with this name called ones place, tens place, hundreds place? That is where the twist is. So normally, if you take a number system, in every number system, we have something called as a base. Okay, a base of the number system. So what does base mean? Base actually means how many digits we can use to form a number in that number system. Okay. So if you're going to form a decimal numbers, how many different digits you can use to form that? Like for example, now if you take every language has alphabets, right? Now if you take English alphabet, we have letters from A to Z. So you can form words using the letters A to Z. Similarly, in decimal number system, if you want to form a number, how many different characters you can use and form it? Like how many characters we have there? Perfect. If you count and see how many characters are there from 0 to 9, if you count and see how many numbers are written here, there are 10 numbers. So therefore, the base of decimal number is 10. Okay, the reason base of decimal is 10 is because there are 10 different numbers you can use to form a decimal number. So what is the base of binary? Using that logic, tell me, what do you think the base of binary would be? Perfect. The base of binary is going to be 2 because we have only two numbers, which is 0 and 1, which we can use to form a binary number. Okay. So these ones place, tens place. Okay. These are called place value now. So if you're wondering how do you form this place value, the place value is formed by taking the base of a number system to the power position. So you can see that's why I multiplied 7 by 10 to the power 0, 10 to the power 1. Why I'm starting with 0 is normally if you take numbers, we start with 0. So you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1. Always we start with 0. So if you take positions, this is the 0 position, 1 position, 2 position, 3 position, 4 position. That's how it goes. So if I want to find the base, if I want to find the place value, it's going to be 10 to the power 0, 10 to the power 1, 10 to the power 2, 10 to the power 3, and 10 to the power 4. Why I took 10 here? Because 27 is a normal decimal number. So base to the power 0, base to the power 1. That's how it goes. That's why in the normal number we call this as 10 to the power 0 ones place, 10 to the power 1 tens place, 10 to the power 2 hundreds place, 10 to the power 3 thousands place. So these place values come by base to the power position. Is that clear? Okay, so come back to the point. So if you want to find the value of a number, how do you find the value? You multiply the digit by its place value. When you multiply a digit by its place value, you can form the number. Like 7 times 1 is equal to 7. 2 times 10 is equal to 20. So when you add 20 and 7 together, you get 27. So that's how the number 27 is formed. Okay. So I told you a while ago that if you take octal, what happened in octal was they had a long binary number and they want to shorten this binary number. So to shorten this binary number, what they did is, I told you they group three digits as one character. So for example, let's say this was a binary number. So let's say the binary number we had was 100, 011, 100. Let's say this was a binary number we had. So to convert this to octal, what they did was, first of all, I told you they grouped it into 3 bits by 3 bits. So when you group this in 3 bits by 3 bits, you will have one set. You will always start from the right side corner. So you'll have one set with 100. You will have another set with 011. And you'll have another set with 100. Now I had to figure out what is the value of 100, what is the value of 011, what is the value of 100. Okay. For that, I'm going to use this method. What is this method? This method is based, this purple color what I've done here is finding the value of a number. Finding the value of a number. It's here it's the same thing, but I'll tell you why I did that. It will make sense now. To find the value of a number, what should we do? We will take the digit and multiply that by the place value. So for example, this 100, if I want to find the value of this number, what should I do? I have to multiply 0, 0, 1. I'm going to multiply it by its place value. Okay. Tell me, what is the place value of this digit? Oh, correct. What is the place value of the second digit then? This is where you all are mistaking. I told you to get the place value, what you should do. Place value is basically equal to base to the power position. This number I wrote here, is it a decimal number? No, it's a binary number. See, base 2 I have mentioned here. The base is 2. So because it's a binary number, to get the place value, it's going to be 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, and 2 to the power 2. So how much is 2 to the power 0? It's equal to 1. Anything to the power 0 is 1. How much is 2 to the power 1? It's equal to 2. How much is 2 to the power 2? It's equal to 4. So that's going to be equal to that's going to be equal to 0 times 1 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, 4 times 1 is 4. Okay. So the value of the number 4, okay, the value of, so when you add these together, you can see the answer is 4. Okay, so the value of this number 100, the value of that number is actually 4. The decimal value equivalent. That's why I said what I'm doing here, I say finding value. Now, here it did not make sense when I did the left hand side because I'm converting decimal to decimal. It did not make sense. But here now it does it make sense why I did the multiplication. So are you clear how did this number 4 come here, all of you? Good. Now is where I come into the play. Okay. Now practically tell me, do you think I like to do things in the hard way or the easy way? Exactly. Easy. I'm the one of the most laziest person you can ever find in terms of getting works done. I'll find the easiest way possible. So do you think I'll expect you to do all these stuffs? No. Let me show you the easiest way how you can do. Honey, what's are doing here? So the shortest way what you can do is without doing all these methods below every digit. Now you are grouping in 3 bits by 3 bits. No. After you group by 3 bits by 3 bits, just write 1, 2, 4, the place values. Just write the place value directly. 1, 2, 4, directly write the place value. Directly write the place value 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Okay. After you mention 124, 124, 124, wherever there is 0, cut the place value. Okay, wherever there is 0, you cut the place value. First of all, I wrote all the place value 124, 124. Wherever there is 0, you cut the place value. After you cut the place value, you write the sum of the remaining. So look at the remaining numbers and tell me what is the sum of the remaining. 2 and 1 is remaining. So sum of remaining is understandable, Hania. It's 3. So what is the sum of the remaining here? Fatima, which Fatima? Your first name. I can't fully understand it. So yeah. Yes, here only 4 is remaining. So now what you do is just join them all together. Because what earlier I told you is we're shortening this number, right? So if you shorten this number, 100 is representing 4, 011 is representing 3, 100 again 4. So answer is going to be 434. These are octal number. Because octal number we represent using 8. So in octal number system, the numbers we can use are from 0 to 7. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the base is 8. Is that clear? See how easy this is? Isn't there easy, way easier than this? No, this is the easiest one. Other than is I can do this whole thing in the mind. The same thing is you can do it. You can cut off certain steps and do in the mind. But yeah, that's the method we do. We should not add. No, we don't add it because why I said what do you mean by? That's why I said you have to understand what the purpose of octal number system. What was the purpose of octal number system? The purpose of octal number system was created because writing binary numbers were too long, and they wanted to what I said. They wanted to. Yeah, Humer, you'll get marks. Yeah, I'll again explain. Yeah, wait. Mashallah, good job, Bilma. Barakallah. So if there are odd numbers on decimal, how can we do? Let me odd numbers on decimal. That means what do you mean by odd numbers on decimal? Correct. I told you the purpose of octal number system is to shorten the binary. So how did we shorten? Without writing a long number, we grouped it to 3 bits by 3 bits. So these 3 bits are going to be represented by number 4. These 3 bits are represented by number 3. And these 3 bits are represented by number 4. So what we're doing is the long number, we're shortening it as 434. See, octal is a shortening system. Makes sense? So we don't add it, we just join it. Just find the three threes. Okay. Just like how octal works with 3 bits by 3 bits, they were not satisfied with this as well. They were like 3 is not enough. I want to shorten the number some more. So when they wanted to shorten the number some more, that is where hexadecimal came into play. So let me have the same number. Okay, the same number called 100, 100011100. So the same binary, they wanted to shorten it some more because they were not satisfied, and that is where they created hexadecimal. In hexadecimal, we shorten it into 4 bits by 4 bits. So these 4 bits are one set, and these 4 bits are going to be one set. Okay. Now you have an incomplete set here. To make it a complete set, I'll just add 0 in front. Okay. So my numbers are going to be 1100. This is one set. 0001. This is another set. 0001. Another set. Now same method you have to do here as well. Behind every digit, so below every digit, write the place value. 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3. 1248. 1248. The place values. And same method, whenever the number is 0, cut the place value. Okay. And then you find the sum of the remaining. 8 plus 4 is 12. This is 1. And this is 1. Up to here, I will clear what I did. Sahal did that now. Did you understand by this question what you should do in those situations? Will we get marks if we use this method from our teachers? Normally they used to say, yeah, this is you get marks from me. This is correct. Okay, I'll explain again, Rehab. Rehab, first of all, tell me what is the purpose of octal and hexadecimal? Based on what I told you all this time, tell me what is the purpose octal and hexadecimal was created? Yeah, I'll come to that step in a while, Humaira. Wait. Not to make it easy. And if you just now join, how will you understand? When I was giving that, there's a whole process. Go and watch the recording because with the reason the question is asking about directly hexadecimal. Before I thought about hexadecimal, I had thought all these stuffs. Without doing all these stuff, you come with that stuff, you will not understand anything. There's a reason why I explain all these stuffs. So wait. Others are clear of what I did here. Because without knowing this thing, you will not know this green color thing. Without knowing the green color thing, you will not know the red color thing. Okay. Now I'll come to this situation. I told you a while ago that octal and hexadecimal was created to shorten which number? To shorten what type of number? Yes, octal and hexadecimal was used to shorten binary numbers. I told you people used to write binary numbers earlier, and writing was a problem, because binary numbers are very long. Huh? Okay, to shorten the binary numbers only, they wrote this, they created this so-called octal and hexadecimal. So in octal, what happened was we grouped it into 3 bits by 3 bits. So here you can see in octal, we have made it to 3 bits, 3 bits, 3 bits. In hexadecimal, we group it into 4 bits, 4 bits, 4 bits. Okay. So in that case, the idea is that these 4 bits has to be represented by one digit. These 4 bits has to be represented by one digit. And these 4 bits has to be represented by one digit. Indirectly, yes, Humaira. But not the full number decimal, only part by part. Now we have a problem. The problem is the left side 4 bits. Is it represented by one digit? Yes. The middle 4 bits, is it represented by what you call one digit? Yes. But the right side 4 bits, is it represented by one digit? The right side 4 bits, is it represented by one digit? Is there one digit there? No. So when we are taking hexadecimal number system, what we do is apart from the numbers from 0 to 9, okay, in hexadecimal, apart from the numbers from 0 to 9, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In hexadecimal, apart from this, there are situations where we have to use numbers like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 as well. So without using 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, we start using capital letters like this in replacement. So whenever you have to use a two-digit number, okay, whenever there are situations you use a two-digit number, without using a two-digit number to make sure it's one, because I told you in hexadecimal what happens is we're going to represent 4 bits as one digit. But if I write number 10, 10 is two digit. So to make sure it's only one digit, what we did is we started using letters. So when using letters, A represents number 10, B represents number 11, C represents number 12, D represents number 13, E represents number 14, and F represents number 15. Yeah, I'll be sending all these pages, don't worry. Now, based on this, tell me, for number 12, what is the letter I have to use? Can we get more than 15? Actually, you can't get more than 15. You know what is the reason? The reason you can't get more than 15 is, let's say all these 4 bits was 1. If all these 4 bits was 1, then how do you find the number? 1248. Okay, so addition of 1248, 8 plus 2 is 10, 10 plus 4 is 14, 14 plus 1 is 15. So can a digit now, if you take one digit is used to represent 4 bits, no? So the addition of 4 bits, can it exceed 15? Like, can it be a number more than 15? No, right? So that's why we say 15 is the largest. Make sense, Fatima? I mean, who asked that question? Hafsa. Hafsa Cliff? Like in hexadecimal, what happens is you're using 4 bits as one digit. So using 4 bits, the largest number that can be formed is 15. Yeah, this recording is there. Actually, the number systems in detail, it's there in the YouTube channel as well. I'll tell that later. Yeah, in theory lesson, I'll again explain. I'm just giving you a summary here, but you need to do in the exam. Okay. So yeah, okay. So the answer is going to be, now you join all of these three together. Answer is going to be double one C. So because it's a hexadecimal number, we put base 16. So in hexadecimal, if you count and see how many digits are there here, there are 16 digits. So the base is 16. Octal base is 8. The numbers we have is 0 to 7. Is this clear, all of you? The basic idea I told you now. Okay, this is a summary I gave you. Huh? Okay. Now, using this idea, if I come for this question, okay, in this question, what they're saying is convert the following number to its equivalent hexadecimal number. So we have binary number which we have to convert to hexadecimal. So tell me, to convert binary to hexadecimal, we have to group it from into how many bits by how many bits? Yes, Awab. I have to group this binary number into how many bits by how many bits? Perfect. 4 bits by 4 bits. Should I start from my right side or should I start from the left side? Yes, right side. So these 4 bits are going to be one set. Yeah, Shaza coming soon. And these 4 bits are another set. So it's going to be double one double zero is one set. Triple one zero is another set. Below each bit, write the place value 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3. Okay. Wherever it's 0, cut the place value. Write the sum of the remaining. 8 plus 2 is 10, 10 plus 4 is 14, 8 plus 4 is 12. So tell me, what is a letter representing C? Sorry, what is a letter representing 12? Always C. It goes as 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. A, B, C, D, E, F. We start with 10. So 10, 11, 12, third digit, A, B, C. And what is the number for 14? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. A, B, C, D, E. Then you join both together. Answer is going to be C, E, base 16. Is that clear, all of you? Okay, perfect. So those who are like very, 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 very ultra weak at number conversion, and if you all have the exams coming soon, and in your exams, if they're going to test the third lesson as well, okay, then if you go to YouTube and if you go and search for Master IT, okay, you will be getting this YouTube channel here. So if you check this YouTube channel, I am in HR. Thank you. So under this Master IT YouTube channel, you can see there is a what do you call link called number conversion great 10 23 free seminar. So in this 2.5 hours, see, because it will take 2.5 hours to explain me the whole lesson. That was in a summarized way. In a summarized way, it will take 2.5 hours to explain the whole lesson. But that has all the step-by-step details. So if you feel like you're a bit weak in number conversion and number conversion is coming for your exam, I would suggest you to go through this recording. But whatever is needed for the exam, the basic stuffs I told you now. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. Going for the next question now. What's the octal number equivalent to the number of bytes in 1 KB? Okay, this is interesting. I think the question is wrong. What's the octal number equivalent to the number of bytes? Okay, what is it now? Octal number equal to the number of bytes in 1 KB. Sorry, it's correct, it's correct, it's correct. So if you look at the question number 9, in the question number 9, they're saying what is the octal number equivalent to the number of bytes in 1 KB. There is two parts in this question. One is octal number, one is number of bytes. So for now, I'll forget about the octal number. I'll come to that in a while. For now, I'll focus on this portion, number of bytes in 1 KB. Okay. Now, when you're measuring data, when you're measuring length, okay, you all measure length using centimeters, meters, kilometers. That's how you measure length, right? Okay. So how did you know that? Anyways, leaving that thing aside. When you're measuring length, you all use centimeter, meters, all those stuffs now. Tell me when you're measuring data, some measuring units you all have come across, like if you were to down and all, or if you have photo, videos, any files in your computer, tell me some measuring units you have come across in your life. Perfect. Majority of you all must have come across in your day-to-day life, MB, GB, KB. These are some stuffs. When you're downloading files from the internet or sharing files, you might have come across this. Okay. So basically, when you take measuring data in a computer, at the end of the day, you all know computers are devices that can understand binary numbers. Okay. So if you take a binary number and if you take a normal decimal number, in a normal decimal number, every character we call this as a digit. We call this as a say, one digit, and we call this as another digit. So for example, I'll be like, this is a two-digit number. Okay, every character we call as a digit. If you take octal number, hexadecimal number, in everything we call as digit, digit, digit only. That's how we call it. But when you take binary numbers, in binary numbers, there is a special feature. In binary numbers, without calling each number as a digit, we have a special name for that. We call that as a bit. Now, using that idea, tell me, if I give you this binary number and if I ask you how many bit number is this, what will be your answer? The number I have written here, it's a how many bit number? Exactly. Perfect. The number I have written here is actually a 4-bit number. You can see there are 4 bits here. Okay, there are 4 bits here. So the point is, when you take these what do you call now measuring units in the computer, the smallest measuring unit we have is something called as bit, which means to store this data, how many binary digits do you need? Okay, bit is the smallest measuring unit. The symbol for bit is simple B. So just like we have centimeters, meters, kilometers, and all these measuring units for measuring length, for data also we have something like bit, a collection of bit we call as byte. The measuring unit we have a byte is capital B. Then we have something called kilobyte. The measuring unit for kilobyte is KB. Then we have something called megabyte. The measuring unit for megabyte is MB. Then we have something called a gigabyte. The measuring unit for gigabyte is GB. And then we have terabyte. The measuring unit for terabyte is TB. And finally, we have something called as petabyte. There is more. In your syllabus, we stop with petabyte. Huh? In reality, there is more, but in your syllabus, we'll stop with petabyte, which is PB. Okay. Now, you all have to remember the order, nothing case. So there is a stupid way I normally tell in the class to remember the order, but you all can create your own way as well. Okay. There is more, there is many. Okay. So the stupid way which I say in class is basically big brother Ken made. I use green to purple, but you can mention it doesn't make sense. Again, I'm saying, but the sentence doesn't make sense. But if you remember, okay. If you don't remember, you can figure out your own way of remembering. Okay. So if you take the sentence, every first word will have see byte, bit, bit byte, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabytes, petabytes. So you can create your own sentence, but this is what I use now in the class. So big brother can made green to purple. BBB, KB, MB, GB, TB, PB. Okay. Anyways, first of all, tell me, are you all clear that there is such type of measuring units we have? I didn't still tell you how to convert. I didn't still tell you the relationship between them, but just the idea that there are these numbers of measuring units. You know, what is the meaning of all these stuffs? Make sense? Perfect. I'll ask you a simple question. Tell me, if you're working in a company and let's say you got promoted, your position increased, then what will happen to your salary? Will they multiply your salary or will they divide your salary? Will they be like, okay, you're doing very good. I'm going to multiply salary by 2. I'm going to double your salary. Or will they be like, you're performing very good, I'm going to divide your salary by half? Multiply or divide? Perfect. Normally, if you're doing good in a company, they will multiply your salary. Let's say you got demoted. Let's say you're very bad in a company. They're like, you're not suitable for this position. We're going to put you down. So when you go down in a company, what will happen to your salary? Multiply or divide? Exactly. They're like, you're not working properly. I'm going to reduce your salary by half. I'm going to, what do you call, divide your salary by half and give you only half of your salary. So when you go down, it's divide, right? That same concept apply here as well. When you want to convert from bit to byte, you're going down, so you divide. Byte to kilobyte, you're going down, so you divide. Okay. Kilobyte to megabyte, you're going down, so you divide. Megabyte to gigabyte, you're going down, so you divide. Gigabyte to terabyte, you're going down, so you divide. Terabyte to petabyte, you're going down, you divide. Petabyte to terabyte, you're going up, so you multiply. Petabyte to gigabyte, you're going up, multiply. Gigabyte to megabyte, you're going up, multiply. MB to KB, you're going up, so multiply. KB to byte, you're going up, so multiply. Byte to bit, you're going up, so multiply. Okay. Now comes the next question, by how much? Okay. Poruma, Iman Poruma. What are you going to do by knowing this answer? Okay. So one thing keep in mind is, and then so next thing keep in mind is, okay, next thing keep in mind is, for every numbers, you multiply or divide by 1024. But whenever you come across this word called bit, okay, during the conversion, up or down, in the conversion, if you come across the word called bit, then use 8. For bit, use 8. For others, you use 1024. Okay. So based on that, if you look at this situation, to convert from byte to bit, see byte to bit. So if you have the word called bit, you multiply by 8. But if you say kilobyte to byte, the word called bit is not there. So what we do? We multiply by 1024. So these are all 1024, 1024, 1024, 1024. Everything is 1024. Only when you're converting, if you come across the word called bit, it's 8. Okay. So from from terabyte to petabyte, you're going down, you divide by 1024. Again, divide by 1024. Divide by 1024. Now tell me, when you're converting from byte to kilobyte, you divide by how much? Byte to kilobyte. From byte to kilobyte, should divide by how much? Perfect. Byte to kilobyte, we're going to divide by 1024. Tell me, when you're going to convert from bit to byte, here you're divide by how much? Anna correct. Bit to byte, you're going to divide by 8 because the word called bit is there, it's 8. Is this part clear on how to find these numbers? Again, I'm not still done. We are having more steps, but up to here, whatever I said, did it make sense what I did? Okay. One of you will ask, what is the smallest and what is the largest? Smallest is basically bit. And in your syllabus, the largest is petabyte, but in reality, there is more. If you want, you can write, but I'll be giving you all these PDFs as well. So if you want, you can write it later, but better if you all can listen to me now and write later because I'm not going to give you a separate time to write. Okay. So yeah, so let's say you got a question like this. I'm not sure. It's you have yottabyte, zottabyte. There's several. There's no limit because there is a big number for that. I can't be exact. In this question, they're asking the number of bytes in 1 KB. So you want to find how many bytes are there in 1 KB. Okay, how many bytes? So they're asking 1 KB has how many bytes? You want to convert from KB to bytes. Okay. Now, to convert from KB to bytes, is it a direct step or in between are there some other conversions? Direct or indirect? If I want to go from KB to bytes, is it a one-step jump? Look at this left side and tell me, is it a one-step direct or is it you have multiple steps? Yeah, you can see from KB to bytes, it's one step. Now, from KB to bytes, are we going up or down? Perfect. We are going up. So you have to multiply. Multiply by how much? Correct. 1024. So the amount of KB we have is 1 KB. So if you multiply that 1 KB by 1024, 1 times 1024 is equal to 1024. So 1 KB is equal to 1024 bytes. Is that clear, all of you? Is this part clear? Okay. Now, this is a bit easy. Let me show you a bit harder question. Okay. Let's say you get a question like this. Let's say they're saying we have 4 GB. And let's say they're asking you to represent 4 GB in bits. Now tell me, from GB to bits, is it a direct step? No. So therefore, first of all, write down the steps of how you can go to bits. To go to bits, first of all, you have to convert GB to MB. Then you have to convert to KB. Okay. And then you have to convert to bytes. And then only you can convert to bits. Is a pathway. So now you do the breakdown. Okay. What is the breakdown? To convert from GB to MB, you multiply by, you're going up. Okay. GB to MB, you're going up. So multiply by 1024. MB to KB, you're going up. So multiply by 1024. KB to bytes, you're going up. So multiply by 1024. Bytes to bits, you're going up. So multiply by 1024. So how many GB we have here? The answer is, the question is talking about 4 GB. Okay. So 4, you're going to multiply by 1024 into 1024 into 1024 into 1024. This will give you the answer in bits. Up to here, are you clear on what I did? Sorry. Thank you for correcting me. It should be multiplied by 8. Yes. My bad. When you have the word called bits, you multiply by 8. Yes. So last one is going to be multiplied by 8. Yeah. Up to here, are you clear of you? Okay. So if you all get a question, actually you all can keep the answer like this as well. You can keep the answer like this as well, because here you want the IT perspective only. They don't expect you to have the mathematical perspective. But there's one thing you should remember here, because you can get MCQ questions. Okay. Normally, you can represent these numbers in their short form. For example, 4 can be represented as 2 to the power 2. Similarly, tell me, how can you represent 1024 as 2 to the power how much? 2 to the power how much is 1024? 2 to the power? 1024 is 2 to the power how much? Actually, 1024 is 2 to the power 10. Okay, 1024 is 2 to the power 10. If you multiply and see, it's 2 to the power 10. 8 is 2 to the power how much? 2 to the power 1 is 2, 2 to the power 2 is 4, 2 to the power 3 is 8. This is mathematical part. Huh? Now, in maths, you all must have learned this. When you're multiplying numbers, the same numbers when you're multiplying, you can do something for the base. What? Correct. You can add the base. Multiplying the same numbers, you can add the base. So here the base is going to be 2 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. So that's going to be 32, 35. So the final answer is going to be 2 to the power 35 bits. Mostly in MCQs, they keep the answers in index form. I mean, sorry, if the numbers are same, at the index, sorry. Not base, I mean index, my bad. Okay, so if you add the index, it's going to be 32 plus 3, 35. But yeah, this is how you do these questions. Is this clear, all of you? This is a whole part of unit conversion. And same thing if they ask you to convert from now, if they ask you to convert these bits to gigabytes, you divide. Not now, I'll give one for Marib. Nazira. Any questions anyone have here? So in this question, they're asking what do you called what is a octal number equivalent to the number of bytes in 1 KB? So 1 KB has 1024 bytes. So they're asking 1000 to represent number 1024 in octal. Okay, so you convert 1024 to octal. That's what is there in the ninth question. I'll ignore that for now because that's regarding number conversions. It'll take a bit time, so I'll pause that for now. But leaving that thing aside, tell me I'll clear on this number unit conversions part. It's called unit conversion. What is it, Samidam? Because you will have this in MCQs. Huh? Why did you multiply it by 4 at first? Because what is my question? My question is to convert 4 GB to bits. So how many GB I have? 4 GB. I'm converting 4 GB into bits. If it was 8 GB, I'll multiply it by 8. If it is 1 GB, I'll multiply by 1. Got it, Samir? Nuska, I think I started at 4:30 only. 4:26 or something. 5 minutes before I joined, I started. It's not a big deal. Yeah, it's there, Nuska, don't worry. Okay, next. ICT helps us to perform our day-to-day activities efficiently, and at the same time, it can bring forth undesirable effects to you. Name two such undesirable effects it brings to the society. Okay. So by ICT, there are some what you called defects, and they are asking you some defects. Okay. So some defects you can mention. One thing is you can get addicted. How do you call this problem where, if you sit for a long time, you will get like fat like hell? How do you call the rest? Some of you must have that issue. Perfect. We call it as obesity. So apart from that, you can get eye strain, headache. These are some issues you can have on you. Okay. So in this question, they are talking about some issues. It can what you call undesirable effects on you. So these are some health effects. But apart from what you call some health effects, there are some other effects that can happen as well for the society in terms of technological effects. Like technological effects is, but that's misuse of IT. Are they talking about misusing here? I know they're not talking about misusing ICT. They're just talking about undesirable effects. But if you're talking about, no, these are talking about health issues, no. But if you misuse ICT, there are some other problems that can happen as well. Okay. One is if you take applications, now, for example, when you're downloading applications, we download only the normal, like we download apps from Play Store, WhatsApp, and we call them as softwares. Okay, the normal application. There are some applications we can download which are harmful. So, how do you call those harmful applications as? Why do they be fat? Because you're staying in one place, there's no physical activity. Rishta. Correct. The harmful applications we can download, these are called virus. Okay. And then there are certain people who can misuse their ICT knowledge, and without your permission, they can access your device or access the data in your device. That means without asking from you, let's say I can take your photos in your phone, or I can see the videos in your phone. How do you call that test? Accessing someone's device without their permission. Perfect. That's called hacking. Then apart from that, okay, Amina. Apart from that, there are certain what you call effects. Something like, for example, let's say I download a paid software. Now there are some software to pay and download. No. So let's say paid and obtain a software. And what's going to happen is that paid software, I'm going to share it for free with my friends. I bought the software by paying, but I'm going to share it with others for free. How do you call that test? Yeah, that's called piracy. Okay, that's called piracy. Violating copyrights is the next example. So what does violating copyrights mean is, for example, I'm going to take your thing. Violating copyrights is where I might sometimes take your thing and I might like copy your thing and create a new product. That's what violating copyrights is. So for example, let's say you're going to create a LMS. Okay. Now to join our class, what you all might use the LMS, the website called Master Online. So let's say there's another institute that goes and copies the same structure, like the same way this website is there, the same interface they go and copy. That's called copyright violating copyright. So you're just copying my stuff, something like that. Okay, that's what violating copyrights are. There is more detail, but yeah, that's the rough idea here. So in this question, any of these answers you mentioned are correct. The technical answer and health related answer both are correct. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. Let's go for the next one now. Question number 2. Name a device used to serve the Jurassic piracy. If it's a public picture, it's not a piracy issue. There is something called free to use. So if it's free to use, it's not a problem. I mean, there are a lot of piracy issues in the website, to be honest, in terms of designs. But yeah, coming back to the context. Name a device used in a system to fulfill the requirements of each situation given below. Yeah, I had to actually change it to Vera. Withdrawing money using a debit card. To withdraw money using debit card, what machine do you go and use? Correct. We use the ATM machine. Next. Obtaining further information about advertisements in a newspaper by scanning the QR code. Okay. To scan a QR code, what machine do you need? The question itself has the answer actually. Yeah, Amra, I'll give you once I'm done with the second question. Correct. We call this as a QR code scanner or QR code reader. Okay, I'll call this QR code scanner. Next device. Recording the attendance of workers of an organization. Normally, to record the attendance, majority of the companies they use fingerprint. So you can record the fingerprint using what? What is the device used to record the fingerprint? Perfect. We call that device as a fingerprint reader. Next, getting information from the barcode of a packaging of a product bought from a supermarket. To scan the barcode, what do you need? Exactly. To scan the barcode, you need a barcode reader. So these are the device we have for that. Next question. Name to serve. Okay, apart from this, there are some other devices as well. Tell me, what is the name of the device that is used? Okay, what is the name of the reader that is used to scan text from an image? Perfect. To scan text from an image, we have something called as a OCR reader. Next, what is the reader we use to mark MCQ answers? The MCQ mark sheet. Yes, optical mark recognition, OMR reader. Then, what is the reader we have? Now, if you take bank checks, in the bank checks in the bottom, there's a number, which is not printed using normal ink. It is printed using magnetic ink. To read the bank checks, there's a number in the bank check. What is the reader we have? Perfect. We call that reader as MICR reader, magnetic ink character recognition. So these are the other scanners we have. How do you call the normal scanners we use to scan a paper? Let's say we have a paper. I want to scan the normal question paper, A4 size paper. What is the normal paper? The normal scanner, we call that as a perfect. The normal scanner, we call it as a flatbed scanner. Okay, the normal scanner, we call it a flatbed scanner. So these are some other scanners we actually have. Next, if you have any questions, drop in the chat. Huh? Should you remember this for the exam? Obviously, yeah. This is the exam paper we are discussing. So here you had few machines. If you look at the second lesson too, we learned about that under out input device under scanners. I didn't teach you this one day in the class. It's going little by little so. Here we are revising mainly the ideas. Right to service offered by e-government to businessmen. So under e-government, we learned the government can provide services to different parties. Okay. Under e-government, we learn the government can provide service to different parties. One is government can provide service for the normal people who live in the country. We call them as government citizen, G to C. Then there are certain services government can provide to other government, other countries. Okay, so we call it G to G. Then government can provide services to the government employees, the people who are working in government companies. So we call it G to E. Then there are certain services the government can provide to their businesses. So we call it G to B. I don't remember such thing. Jai, under input devices, go and see. We have learned it. Goldfish, all goldfish memory, man. So name two services offered by e-government to businesses. So e-government to businesses, one thing is you can go and register business. Under correct. You can go and get details about business opportunities, investment opportunities. So if there's any government businesses you can go and invest money on, those investment opportunities details you can go and obtain. Perfect. What else? Yes, you can go and obtain details about tax related info. Okay, these are all correct. MICR, magnetic ink character recognition. Okay, so these are some details, services you can offer from the government to businesses. Next, name two features of distance education. So, for example, currently you are learning from home. Okay, so when you're learning from home, there are two main advantages we can get. One is you can save a cost. Which cost you're going to save by learning from home? Perfect. So when you're talking about traveling, in transportation, there are two things that's getting wasted. One thing is money. Second thing in transportation, there's something else as well that you are going to save. What is it? Anna, correct. So one is saves transportation time, and next one is saves transportation cost. Okay, transportation cost. So apart from that, you can say it's more convenient. Okay, for features of distance learning, you can say you can learn from anywhere at any time. Can learn from anywhere at any time. Correct, Abhinav. At any time. What else are the features of distance learning? Yes, flexible time only. You can learn from anywhere at any time. Control assessment and feedback. Yes, that you can do in physical as well. But yeah, these are the two main things: saving the transportation savings and the you can learn from anywhere at any time. You can contact at each online. Correct. Q&A forum. Correct. And correct. Extroverts can no extroverts will introverts becomes extroverts and vice versa. With the people who are speaking here now, if I put a physical class, all will be shut and keeping the mouth shut and waiting. Ah, yeah, you can learn from a teacher who is far away from you. All these are global access. These all are correct answers. You can actually write. Okay. Next. If there are any questions up in the chat? Write three ways of applying ICT which can be used by a farmer to develop his agricultural activities. Okay. There are three ways they're asking farmers can use ICT. Now tell me, as a farmer, let's say your farmer is mostly doing agriculture. No? So as a farmer, if you want to, one of your biggest enemies is basically insects. So to capture insects, what is the device you can use? To capture those insects, what is the device you can use? Anna, correct. To capture insects and all these harmful pests that comes to your field, we can use something called as a automatic pest controller. Okay, automatic pest controller. Next, if you're having an agricultural field, let's say you have a very big field, So if you have a very big field, watering that field is again difficult. So then you can have automatic watering system. Ah, is it Rushta? Automatic watering system. Yes, it has a drip irrigation system only. Apart from that, normally for the what do you call when you take these farmlands and all, for this watering system to work, it should know the soil's moisture and all those stuffs. So what is the device we have to check the soil's moisture and all those stuffs? Not soil moisture sensor, there's something else. There's a device we learned to check the soil moisture, all those stuff. There's a device. What is the device? Anna, correct. We call that device as field condition measuring device. So this measuring device will be able to tell the soil moisture and all those stuffs about the soil. Okay. Now, sonar is for fish, not for agriculture. Field condition measuring sensor. Then, apart from that, you can also use robots in farming. Tell me two things robots can be used for. The robots, correct. One is robots can be used for harvesting, and second thing, robots can be used for three. Yeah, you can even use robots for weed removal. So again we call it automatic weed removal, but robots are normally used for harvesting, as well as robots are used for seedling planting as well. So harvesting is plucking, and second thing is robots can be used for, apart from harvesting, it can be also used to seedling planting as well. So these are the two places robots can be used. Got it? Now this is where what do you call in agriculture, in terms of what you call planting industry, where you can use yeah, apart from that we can use also meteorological devices. Okay, so meteorological devices also what do you call we can use to find the temperature, humidity, all those stuffs and make useful decisions. Okay, apart from that, apart from these farmers who do agriculture, I mean, apart from the farmers who do agriculture, there are certain other farmers who do animal husbandry. That means deal with cows and poultry and all those stuffs, right? So tell me one device they can use to track the animals. Perfect. To track where the animals are going and all those stuffs, we have the RFID sensors. Perfect. Okay. And then, so this is talking about the farmers who do animal husbandry. Okay. One is RFID. Apart from that, if you want to know who are the outside people, like random people who are coming, yes, the recording will be there on YouTube. The random people who are coming and save your farmland from outsiders of a security purpose, what do you install in your farmhouse? Perfect. In your farmhouse, you can have a CCTV cameras. Then, let's say you are having a farm that has several cows. Now, milking the cows are not easy job when you have a large number of cows. So, what you can do for that? We can guys, but that's not suitable because you can do cheating. Practical situations, you can cheat. What about automatic? Exactly, automatic milking using machines, or be like automatic milking systems or automatic milking machines. Correct. Okay. So apart from this, what do you call in farmhouse? You can also use something called farmhouse management system to record the activities of the what are the details about the animals you have, the items you have, all the stuff you can track using a automatic. So using a farmhouse management system. That's something I think. Okay. So regarding farmhouse, no. Regarding fish industry as well, we learn like fishing industry as well, we learn certain devices. Okay. Tell me in the fishing industry, what is the device we learned which you can use to find how much of fish is there in the water? Okay, that sensor is called a fish concentration level sensor. Correct. Okay, concentration level sensor. This uses sonar technology. Okay, I told you this sensor uses something called a sonar technology. So apart from that, we learn underwater camera, all the stuff as well, but this is the main fellow. Okay. Anyways, let's go for the next one there. Write to occasions where ICT is used in the field of transport. Okay. Tell me one thing we have in the roads, which all can see, that reduces traffic or that controls traffic. To control traffic, so what do you have in the road? A system. Perfect. We have the traffic light sensors. So traffic light system. Traffic light systems also is completely based on IT, traffic light system. Apart from traffic light system, if you take the field of transportation, actually in Sri Lanka it's not very popular. But if you take foreign countries, for the people who are disabled, there are like some specialized parking slots. They don't have to pay for it. Without paying, they can go and park their vehicle there. So all of them get a card. What do you call that card? Those disabled people will get a card. I gave a name for that card. Perfect. We call it as parking placard. Okay, parking placard. Apart from that, sometimes there are situations where even the police is not there in the road, but still police are able to catch those criminals. If you do a mistakes, they are able to know you did this mistake, and sometimes they might take the necessary action. How will they know, even if they're not present? Perfect. In certain places of the roads, they use CCTV cameras. So those cameras are going to track you and do the respective job. Is that clear, all of you? Perfect. Okay. I'll give you like a 5 minutes break, maybe. No, it's six, not 5 minutes. Okay, look, it's 6:16. 4 minutes, 6:20. At around 6:25, I'll be again starting. So yeah, you all can take a small break till 6:25. If you have any questions, you can ask. Don't leave the meeting, you can stay in the meeting itself. And then we'll be doing the question number 3 and 4. I will not be doing 5 and 6, but yeah, question 3 and 4 I'll be doing. What is it, Shaza? Do you even have a papers? If you wrote the papers physically, I don't have the paper, Shaza. If you wrote online, then somewhere it's there. Should go and find it. What is it, Nuska? 7 o'clock. A bit past 7 o'clock, maybe. Let's see. Bye, guys. Physical papers, yeah, it's in the dustbin. Online papers, no. Did you get it money back? What do you mean, money back? Space is just space, right? Then how do satellites receive the network? I don't understand. In the space, there's something called satellites which are being sent through like rockets. We have something called satellites which are orbiting around the space. Like you have learned about the moon orbiting around the space, right? So just like moon orbiting around the space in your satellite, there's something in the orbit. There's a device called satellite like this that orbits. Okay, that's good. So the signals through microwave signals are sent to this. Rushta, I told you, Marks. You can't remember. Maybe the money you sent it to someone else. As in, When is the quiz? Quiz will happen inshallah next Monday. I'll publish the details. It's Mac Apple, Ryan. What papers? They're talking about grade 10 and grade 11 papers for imposting here. Talk about last step, grade 10, grade 11 paper. You didn't say the fixed one, you just said maybe 75. It was 70, I can't remember the exact number. You never told us in the physical class. As in Vartamana. No, not fair. So they got to know all the about the seven legs. They got to know about the seven legs because that happened on last Monday. They had their class on Monday. Well, having a class on Friday. So tomorrow I'll tell you. Okay, Rushta. Hi, is it Nuska? Okay, enjoy. What's seven legs thing? I'll tell you the class tomorrow. You have time. Tomorrow. What if I don't come to her? Come tomorrow to listen to this. Exactly. No, Sabir can see. There are recordings on Logic Gates operating system. Yeah, you should have. You can just WhatsApp me and get it. This is the number. Will I pray and come? Yeah, I can pray and come, but you have 2 minutes. I'm going to pray after 7, but if you want to keep praying, then we have exam tomorrow. I said, enjoy the exam. Why don't you come to Jassing ground so often these days? I just randomly, I'm going to in this one. I have changed the location. Come to Independence Square. Just try yes, WhatsApp me, okay? The number I shared there. This one. 126 Insta coming for the exam. Depends. Some exams, some schools 126, some schools 123. So yeah. 1 to 5th chapter we have. But Tejas, now only Adhan is saying. Then why did those people want to go and pray Mahari Bahri itself? I'm not sure the time. That's not right. Our second term test. Enjoy. Simra, yeah, Simra, you can just it's on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, search for Master IT, and the whole class is live. The live. Enjoy. You can get the live recording here. I'll just share in the chat. We have the live recording here. Enjoy. Are you on Dua? Okay, all the best for your exams. Okay, let's start. Having lunch now. Right. Nice time to have lunch. Okay, let's start. No, chapter 4 is on there on YouTube, Mod. That one I have a recording which you can purchase, but just WhatsApp me or send it. Okay, let's start. The third question. The evolution of the computer with the invention of the abacus has paved the way to the modern computers. Select the correct answer for the following statement with regard to the evolution of computer from those given below. Okay. The world's first ever mechanical adding machine was invented by whom? Okay. The adding machine, we call it as a, what do you call before we talk about computers, the first device which we learned in terms of calculation was like they have mentioned abacus. After abacus, not an electronic device, but just a mechanical device were made called adding machine. It had another name as well. There was another name for adding machine we call as Pascaline. That was made by whom? This adding machine was made by who? At least that word called Pascaline should have given you a hint. Correct. That was made by this person called Blaise Pascal. Next, the a machine called analytical engine. Okay, what is special about analytical engine? It's the first what? It's the first what? Hmm. Correct. It's the first type of modern day computer. Okay, come back to the context. So that was a machine called analytical engine was invented by Charles Babbage using the okay. In Charles, in this analytical machine, apart from input, process, output, there was the next main feature it had. What is the fourth main feature it had? Apart from input, process, output, it was able to do one extra thing. What was it? Perfect. It was able to store the data as well. So where did we store this data on? To store the data, we had a device. What was the device we used here? Yes. So we call this punch card system. Okay. So use the punch card. The answer for the second one is punch card. Next. They have given the answer in brackets. Dash, who wrote program for the first computer, is considered to be the world's first computer programmer. I'll give you a hint. She was a lady. What's her name? Yes, the first lady programmer, we call her as Madame Ada Augusta Lovelace. So, these are the name of the first lady programmer. Next, punch card system, which was introduced by Dash, can be introduced as a Dash concept of sorting data in computer. Okay, punch card system, even though we used in analytical engine, before analytical engine, Charles Babbage got inspired from another device. It's actually a sewing machine. Okay, so that name of that sewing machine was called mechanical loom. This is the name of that sewing machine. This was where the punch card was first of all used. So who made this mechanical loom? I'll think of what we have. Correct. The mechanical loom was made by someone called as Joseph Jacquard. Joseph Jacquard. Next, many significant. Okay, we have used all the answers, right? Yeah, we have used all the answers. Many significant changes have occurred. See, what is a hint for card? What? Okay, next. I mean, Jacquard. Ah, okay. Yeah, you can use that as well. Like you can use his last few words: card, punch card. Many significant changes have occurred during the evolution of computer from the first generation to the fifth generation. Right. Write down three technological changes that came into being during the evolution of the computer. Okay. I actually gave the answers for this earlier. When we went from the first generation to the fifth generation, some changes we can notice. I gave you five changes. What are they? Yes. The speed increased. What else? Storage capacity of the devices. What happened for that? Storage capacity? Correct. Storage capacity increased. What else? Tell me what happened. Just without listening, heat, size, all those stuff. What happened to the heat? What happened to the size? What happened to them? Heat decreased, size decreased. What else? Price decreased. So any of those answers you can mention here. Okay. Those answers I mentioned, you can mention everything here. Basically, it's there here. Storage increased, speed increased, size, price, electricity, heat, they reduced. Okay. Whatever I already explained that here, that same thing you can mention here. Became more efficient? Yes, because efficiency is talking about mainly speed. Mainly efficiency is talking about speed. So therefore, It's correct. The computer, which if you have any questions, drop in the chat. I'm checking the chat. If I'm looking here, that means I'm looking at the chat only mainly. The computer, which evolved with the three basic concepts of input, process, and output, has now developed to a level of doing complete complex tasks like voice recognition, character recognition, etc. Write down two advantages in the fifth generation computers when compared with early computer generation. Okay, so there are some advantages they're asking about. Now, in the fifth generation, there was a new thing that was introduced. Now, even though we started we got even though we got to know about this, I mean, even though this was trending in around 2022 or 23, in 1980s itself there was something that was started. Exactly. We call this as artificial intelligence, which stands for AI. So artificial intelligence, it started from the fifth generation computers. Artificial intelligence, which is basically AI. Apart from AI, if you take fifth generation computers, what you called, we were able to use more multimedia comparatively as well. That means in the fourth generation computers only, we started using multimedia. Multimedia. Why am I having ants here? I don't know. Anyways, okay. In the fourth generation computers only, we started using ants. Okay, so there was something special about the fifth generation computers. We were able to use, yeah. I think there's some ants here. So yeah, sorry, what do you call, yeah, there was some ants moving. Anyways, what do you called? Come back to the content. In the fourth generation computers, you two started using ants. Sorry, because there were ants here. I was cleaning the ants. My focus was on this cleaning the ants. Sorry, my bad. Okay. So what do you call, in fourth generation there was like ants here. My focus was cleaning those ants. That's why I said there are ants here, Killer. Sorry, my bad. In the fourth generation computers, we started using something called as graphical user interface. Okay. And in fifth generation cameras, we started using more multimedia. So multimedia is like videos, audios, and all. It was mostly started using in the fifth generation. That's another feature. But leaving that thing aside, there was another big thing that happened in the fifth generation as well. That is, you know, for us to communicate data, for us to communicate information, especially wireless, through a wireless medium, if I want to communicate information, like let's say through WhatsApp, I want to send you a message, I need a connection. What connection do I need? Yeah, Saif, I'll be sharing it after the class. I mean, after the seminar is over. Perfect. We need the internet connection. So internet connection also was became popular actually in the fifth generation. So these are the two answers you can mention here. Is that clear of you? Okay. Apart from this, other generation also has certain things that are important. For to be very specific, there was something very special that happened in the third generation. In the third generation, there was two main hardwares developed. What are the two main hardwares that was made in the third generation computers or during the third generation time period? Correct. One is mouse, other one is keyboard. Apart from this hardware change, in the third generation, there was a big software change that happened as well. What was introduced in the third generation? We introduced a different type of software. What do you call that as? Correct. The third generation is where operating system started. But if you take the operating system that was there in the third generation, I told you it was completely black and white operating system. We call this CLI operating system, command line interface. So this is where we saw a change in the fourth generation computers. In the fourth generation computers, what type of operating did we have? Perfect. What's special about the fourth generation computers, here we started using something called as graphical user interface operating system, GUI operating systems. So the operating system with colors, images, icons, all those stuffs started from the fourth generation. We'll be learning about what this GUI is in detail in the fifth lesson. But leaving that thing aside, in the fourth generation, there was something else as well. Fourth generation is where we started making something called as a microprocessor, a small processor. Okay. So we were able to make devices that was the size of our hand as well. How do you call that device? Like a laptop, but that's the size of your hand. Like, I can't tell the name of this part. If I tell the name, the answer is there. Not phone. Perfect. That was called the palm tops. Palm top. So until the fourth generation, the devices were all heavy. You could not move it easy, carry and go here and there. But from the fourth generation, it was very convenient to move devices here and there as well. So how do you call that feature of ability you're able to move these devices here, easily here and there? Correct. You call that characteristic as portable. So fourth generation is where this portability was very common. Okay. So these are some key points regarding each generation. Huh? Yes. Next, a teacher in charge of ICT in blah 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 Vidyalaya wants to connect 10 computers. Name three types of computer networks among them and name the most suitable type of network for the computer lab for blah 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 blah. Okay, I think they're talking about arrangement of the network. Because in terms of types of networks, there's just two types of networks, wired and wireless. So if you ask in three types of computer networks, then they're talking about something called topology. Correct. That's why I said arrangement. So I have not taught you all that in the class. So let me just give you all a detail here. When you take a computer network, okay, this question number 4A. When you take a computer network, what do you mean by a computer network is basically a situation where you have a collection of computers connected with each other. So for example, if I have four computers in one room, if I have four computers and let's say there is no connections, if there is no connection, then it's not a network. But let's say all these four computers are connected, I can share information between these four computers. So if I can share information between these computers, if they're interconnected, then I can call this as a network. So if it's connected, it's network. Not connected, it's not a network. Is that clear? Understood what you mean by network? Network is where you have a collection of devices interconnected with each other. That's fine, Shadu. Shadu, you have in either sending part, I think you might have option to select who do you want to send. So there you can choose everyone. First of all, tell me, all of you, are you all clear of what do you mean by network? A network, again, I'll say network is where you have a collection of devices that are interconnected with each other. That means they're connected basically. Perfect. Now, there are two ways you can connect a network. One is wired, and I told you earlier another way. What is the other way you can connect devices together? One is wired, other one is not unwired. There's another name for that. Perfect. One is wired and one is wireless. Okay. So one is wired and one is wireless. Now, when you're connecting a computer, okay, when you're connecting these devices together, there are different ways of how the devices can be arranged. Okay, there are different ways of how the devices can be arranged. So that is what we are going to talk about now. So for example, when you take a network, there's something called network topology. So network topology means how devices are arranged or interconnected. Network topology. So this always talks about the arrangement of devices in the network. Okay, simply that's what you call as a network topology. How the devices are arranged in a network. So for example, let's say I have four computers and I want to connect these four computers. I'll show you the different ways of how you can connect. One way is, so let's say I'm using this shape to represent every device, okay? Hmm. So if you have a situation where every device can connect to each other device. So for example, if I'm going to call these as computer A, computer B, computer C, and computer D. So here you can see Every device can send data to another device, one to one, one to one. So all are one to one connection. So one device can have maximum two connection. See, one device can have a maximum of two connections. So this is one arrangement. First of all, I'll show you all the arrangements and then I'll tell you all the names for those arrangements. Huh? There's another arrangement like this as well, where without connecting all of them to what do you call with each other, what you can do is you can connect all of them to one common device. So there is a device, just like a Wi-Fi router and all those stuff, there's a device called switch or hub. There's a device called switch and there's another device called hub. These are two different devices, okay? Which looks like this. Okay, which looks like this. So there's a device called switch and there's another device called hub. So you can use either one of them. You can use a switch or else you can use a hub. You can use either one of them and you can connect these devices together as well. Something like this. So all the devices will be connected to the switch or hub and by that they can transfer data. So this is one type of arrangement. So here also all the devices are connected. So A, B, C, D, they can share data within them and all are going to go through this device called switch or hub, a device that looks like this. So all the devices will be connected to this main device. Okay, this is one arrangement. Then there's another arrangement like this, where every device is connected to every other devices. So let me show you all this. Now, in the first picture, one device was connected to another one only now. In the first picture, if you notice, A was connected to B only and D only. Okay, in the first picture, does okay, in the first picture, does A and C have a direct connection? The first picture I drew, does A and C have a direct connection? No. Does it have an indirect connection? Like, can it send data to C indirectly? Yes, it can send through D or else through B. But if you look at the third connection, third one, A can send for B directly, A can send for C directly, A can send for D directly. D can send for A directly, D can send for B directly, D can send for C directly. C can send for D directly, C can send for A directly, and C can send for B directly. Every computer is connected to every other computers. Okay. So this topology where one computer is connected to another computer, you can see like a circle, right? You can see it's like a circle. So this topology we call as a ring topology, which looks like a ring, like a circle. You can see everything is connected to one other device. One is connected to another one. Another one is connected to another one. So it's like a circle. That's a ring topology. If everything is connected to a central place, we call this as star topology. All are connected to one common point. See, like a star, right? One common point, all of them are connected. We call this star topology. And if every device is connected to every other device, see A is connected to B, C, D, everything. This is called the mesh topology. First of all, tell me, are you all clear about how these three devices are arranged? First one device is connected to maximum two devices. Second one, all of them are connected to a central device called switch or hub. Third one, everything is connected to everything. Perfect. Then we have another topology that looks like this. We have a main cable. So there are two names you can give for this main cable. Some people call this cable as a main cable. And some people call this as a backbone cable. Okay. So what happens is all the devices are connected to this main device. See this main device only. All the devices are, give a moment. Sorry. So all the devices are going to be connected to this main cable like this. See, for the main cable, all the devices are connected. These lines which are drawing here is wires basically. So let me redraw it. Okay. So this looks like, if you look at this thing, it looks like a bus. In a bus, you have the middle, you have a, you have like a walking path there, and then you have lots of seats next to each other, right? So all of them you can walk through the middle place. So this kind of arrangement we call as a bus topology. So these are four main topologies. Okay, we have four main topologies as ring, star, mesh, and bus. So there is another topology that was made by combining the bus and star. Okay, so let me show you that. First of all, let me draw a bus topology. How does a bus topology look like? So you have a straight line and you have multiple devices connected to this straight line. That's how it works now. So for example, let's say I have one device here, one device here. Okay, this is how the bus topology works. Every device is connected to the main cable. So there was a topology that was made by combining the bus topology with the ring topology. So now star topology. So how does star topology work? In star topology, there's a main extra device. The extra device is called the switch, or you can also call, there's two types of device. These are two different devices. Huh? Switch is one device, hub is a different device. So you can use one of them. So what happens in the star topology is without connecting computers. So what happens in tree topology? This is called tree topology. Huh? So without connecting only devices for this main cable, we connect a switch. And for this switch, I'm going to have multiple device connected. So if you look at this portion, okay, if you look at this portion, in this situation, we have this part, right, where to a switch or hub, multiple devices are connecting. So how do you call this situation as for a central device, all the computers are connected? Yes, officer. In your school labs, actually, you have bus topology. Okay, this part is called the star topology. Perfect. And then how do you call this portion where you have main cable, to the main cable, you have multiple devices connected? This is perfect. This is called the bus topology. So when you combine bus topology and star topology together, bus plus star forms the tree topology. So based on how these devices are arranged only, we differentiate topologies. We call them into different topologies. Is this clear, all of you all? Hmm. You can call it Starbus. It's like Starbucks. Starbucks means tree. Perfect. So in this question, they have said three types of computer network. In general, we have only two types. One is wired and wireless. But because there are three, maybe they are referring to what you call the arrangement of networks. So you can mention anything. For example, the network topologies. We can call as bus topology, ring topology, and then tree topology, and star topology. And one more, mesh topology. Next question. The teacher further says the network switch is more suitable than a hub to develop a network. Write down a reason. Okay. Wait. Third question is talking about name for network topologies. That means first is not talking about that. Name three types of computer networks among them. Among them means a teacher in charge of blah 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 wants to connect all 10 computers in the lab in order to build a network. Name three types of networks among them. Okay. Sorry. Not man, van, LAN. What they're talking here is basically when they say three types of networks among them and name the most suitable type of network for the computer lab. Among them, who is this among them? Among the 10 computers. So among the 10 computers, we have used only LAN. There is no man and van. If I can find a single medium paper of this, it's better. But yeah, let me come back to that. Okay. So when you're taking a computer network, you can classify a computer network based on different categories. One is you can classify based on the data transmission medium. So transmission medium is how is data traveling from one place to another. So if you're going to categorize based on data transmission medium, then that's going to be wired and wireless, guided and unguided. And if you're going to categorize a computer network based on the distance between the devices. Now, I said in a network, what's happening is there are devices connected now. So if you're going to categorize based on distance between devices, distance between devices. Okay. So if you're going to classify based on distance between devices, then the categories we have are something called as LAN, which stands for local area network. Then we have something called MAN, metropolitan area network, and WAN, which stands for wide area network. So local area network is a small area. For example, let's say within a office, within a school, within a small distance, that's a local area network. Okay. Metropolitan area district, it's not a small distance, like a medium distance. For example, let's say I have a school. Okay. And in my school, let's say I have two buildings. For example, in your schools, you might have two buildings, right? So within the building, there's a small distance you'll have. Okay, in your school, you might have a building. Sometimes, let's say within these two buildings, the grounds is there. So let's say these are grounds, and between the grounds, there are two buildings. So you can share data between these two buildings as well, and you can do that using a. I mean, you can combine wired and wireless both. Okay, so you can create a small network here. So in a medium distance, this kind of situation we call as a metropolitan area network. Like it's not very far, it's not very close, it's not very far. Like it's not within the building. If it's within the building, it's local area network. It's between two buildings, but not very far. It's within an average distance. So that's a metropolitan area network. Okay, it's a medium distance. But if it's a larger distance, for example, let's say you have one branch in Sri Lanka, other branch in India. So distance is very high, So if you have a very larger distance, that's called a wide area networks. So this has a larger distance. So small distance, media, what do you call LAN, medium distance MAN, and larger distance, it's WAN. So if you're going to categorize based on distances, the network, then yes, it's going to be categorized as LAN, MAN, and WAN. So in this question, they're saying name three types of computer networks among them. If you're going to have 10 computers, yes, internet is a WAN. Um, Not always, Samita. It's not always LAN, WAN, WAN. It's only if they talk about, if they have mentioned the word called distance or geographical location or something they use the word called geographical, or if they have mentioned distance, then definitely LAN, WAN, WAN. But when they say three types of networks among them, among whom? Among them means like among the 10 computers. Types of computer networks. So among these devices, you can have wired connections, types of connections between devices. Network for the computer lab. What is this paper? Northwestern Province, first term test 2018. Let's see if I have the singular medium paper. Because if I get the singular version of the question, then I can easily figure it out. What is the answer sheet? Northwestern Province, English medium. The PDF I gave answer is there? Oh, shoot. I did not know that. That means you all could have seen the answer and even told me, no? You all could have done cheating work. Sad life. Yeah. LAN man WAN LAN. Okay, so they have mentioned there as LAN man WAN, but yeah, Shad. But even though they have mentioned that as LAN man WAN, one thing I'll tell you is normally if they wanted to answer the LAN man WAN part, then they might mention the part called types of computer network based on geographical distance. Huh? Anyways, so based on geographical distance, you can have three networks. One is LAN, local area network, then MAN, metropolitan area network, and WAN, wide area network. Now here they are saying they want to connect all 10 computers in the lab, in a computer lab. So in a computer lab, these 10 devices, will it be in a shorter distance or a longer distance? Now if you're going to have 10 computers in a computer lab, the distance between these devices, is it going to be a short or long? A small distance or a big distance? Perfect. It's going to be a small, short distance. So tell me, out of LAN, MAN, WAN, what do you think is more suitable here for small distance communication? Perfect. For small distance communication, local area network is more suitable. So answer is going to be local area network. So first, you mentioned 2 points. One is these are three, and the most suitable network for this situation is LAN network. Clear? Okay. The next question. The teacher further says that a network switch is more suitable than a hub to develop a network. Write down the reason. Okay, I told you earlier when we are using a star topology, we can use either switch or hub, right? There are some advantages of using switch and there are some advantages of using hub. So there are some advantages and disadvantages when using both these communication media. Okay. The main difference between switch and hub, the main difference why we have something called switch and hub is in switch you can control the communication. What I mean by control the communication is, for example, let's say if I have the network with these four devices, if I'm having a switch, I can tell, okay, allow A to share data with B and C, don't allow it to communicate with D. So I can tell, okay, allow A to send for data for B, send for C, but don't allow it to send data for D. Killer. Using a switch, you can control for whom and whom the data can be transmitted. Okay. But using hub, you can't control the data transmission. Is that clear, all of you? Okay, you can control, there you can't control. That's the main difference we have between them. It's something like this. So for example, let's say I want to share a resource with all of you. Okay, I want to share a resource with all of you. Now, if I go and publish that resource, let's say in something like this. Now, if you take our website, the master online website, okay, this doesn't have. Okay, if you take the website, this website is not used currently. But normally, let's say if there's a resource I have to share for all of you publicly, I might come and post it here. Okay, in the resources page, I can come and post it here. Okay. But let's say I want to share a resource only for certain people individually. Like I want to share certain data. I want to make sure only you all get, others don't have access. Okay. So in that case, what I can do, for example, if you take our website, in this website, if I want to share a resource for you all individually, if you notice in your profile, you had something called as, sorry, in your website, you will be able to track resources. Let me just show you one theory class. See, there's something called, okay, here I have not given any materials. But for example, you can see the lesson number 6 to 9 tute. That is a tute I want only for the people who have purchased the grade 10 class to see. Okay. So to make sure only these people can see that tute, it's only if you had purchased that lesson, it will be visible. Again, that's an extra stuff I told you, but leaving that thing aside, the main difference between switch and hub is in switch, so in hub, everyone connected can access the data. In switch, you can control the access. So you can control access, can control access of the data. But here, all devices connected can access the data. All devices connected can access. You can't block a individual device from accessing the data. That's the main difference. Apart from that, there are some other differences as well. Now, in terms of speed, there's a difference as well. When you compare the speed, switch is actually more faster than hub. Let me just double check that. As I can remember, switch is more faster. Can we use a master website? It will not work for you. It will show a security issue for you. I have blocked and kept it. Apart from that, yeah, when you compare the speed, the switch is comparatively fast as well. That's another difference we have. Okay, when you compare both these devices, switch is faster than hub. Okay, and the third device which we have is this. This is the main change. So I have, again, this is something I have thought to Vellavatta, but others I have not thought. When you take a device, when you take two devices, okay, when you're transferring data from one device to another device, the person who is sending the data, we call it the sender, right? How do you call the person who's receiving the data as? Perfect. The person who's going to receive the data, we call them as receiver, right? So when the data is transferring from the sender to the receiver, sometimes there could be a one-way connection, one-way communication, sender to the receiver only. So if the data can be transferred only from the sender to the receiver, we call this as simplex mode. The data, so we call this is coming under something called as data transmission modes. Okay, data transmission modes. So if the data can transfer only from the sender to the receiver, it's going to be called as simplex mode. Now, there are some other situation where from the sender, yes, I can send the data to the receiver. Okay, from the sender, I can send a data to the receiver. But in this situation, the receiver can reply as well. But there is one problem. The receiver, if he wants to reply, he can reply only after I send the data. Okay, now if I take sender and receiver, I'll explain how it. If I take sender and receiver, in the second situation, he has to wait. For example, let's say I'm typing a message. Okay. If I'm typing a message, and if that message I have sent, okay, I have sent, but it is not delivered to you. Let's say your data is off. If your data is off, even though I have sent the message, can you reply to my message? Will you even know the message I sent to you? Let's say I sent a message to you. I'm the sender, I'm sending you a message. Without receiving that message, can you reply to my message? No. So if both of us can communicate, but only you can reply after you get the message. First of all, you have to get the message. After you get the message, only you can reply. We call that kind of mode as half duplex mode. So there are some situations where I can send, and while I'm sending the data, you can reply as well. For example, while I'm speaking. Now let's say both of us are in a phone call. If in a phone call, should you wait till I complete the sentence to interrupt my communication? Now, for example, let's say I'm asking you a question. While I'm asking itself, you can reply, or should you wait till the end? Can you interrupt basically? Can you interrupt my communication? Like, let's say I'm speaking, let's say we're in a phone call. So while we're in a call, okay, while we're in the communication itself, can you interrupt? Yeah. Okay. So while we're in the communication, while we're speaking itself, if you can interrupt and if you can speak, okay, if you can tell, like before I complete my sentence itself, if you can reply back, that's what we call as a full duplex data transmission mode. So if you take calling, calling comes on an example for full duplex. So while I'm speaking, you can reply. But messaging, that comes on a half duplex. Until you get my message, you will not be able to reply to my message. To my message, you will not be able to reply to a message until I send it. Simplex mode is like your, for example, radio. When you're listening to the radio, can you reply back to the person who is speaking to you in the radio? Through the radio. Through the radio, can you talk to that person who is talking in the radio? No. If you take the communication between your what you call AC remote and the AC, from the AC remote, you can control the AC. You can give instruction for the AC, increase temperature, decrease temperature. But can the AC reply back anything to the AC remote? To the remote, can it give any data? No, it can't. So when you take this switch and hub, when transferring data between devices in switch, okay, when transferring data between devices in switch, what happens is the data is transferred as full duplex. That's why it's fast. But if you take hub, the data is transferred in the half duplex mode. That's why it is slow. Is that clear, all of you? Okay, using this idea, tell me, what do you think walkie-talkie comes under? Simplex, half duplex, or full duplex? The walkie-talkie? Perfect. Walkie-talkie comes under half duplex. What do you think? What do you think? Browsing the internet in a while we'll finish some. Let's say browsing the internet. That means you're going to the internet and you're searching something. How is it full duplex? When you're searching something in the internet, before you go and click on search, will you get the results? Will you get all the results? No, right? After you click on the search, after let's say you're going to Google and searching something, after you tell Google what you want to it, Google can give you the answer. So it's half duplex. Half duplex. So if I go to Google and if I go and type here something called master IT, okay, after I click on enter, once I'm done giving my data, then only I'm getting my response. See, I'm getting a reply. I asked Google something, Google gave me something. But I had to complete my transaction. After I click on enter, then only I get it. So that's half duplex. Is that clear? So yeah, second question's answer is this. And third question's answer is this. So third question, they'll ask you to name four network topologies and draw two of them. So these are four topologies, and you have to draw them. If we put all the past record, are we getting all these tunes as well? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, the past recordings we have done in online, we have not done up to this whole thing. Online, we have done only up to, if I'm not wrong, we have completed up to somewhere here. I have to explain from here. But in Vellavata, we have done up to here. Vellavata is done. I think Kolana and online are equal. They're almost somewhere here. Yeah, both of them are here. But Vellavata is 1 week ahead, so they're somewhere here. There you can get this recording with the tute. Anyways, that's there regarding the question A. Now let's go to question B. The last question which I said I'm going to discuss today. Yeah, these three questions and we're done. Okay. It's relevant to the previous one. Name the components name A, B, C, and E in the above diagram. So in this A, B, C, and E, if you look at this situation, here they are given you a network. So you can see there's a collection of devices connected together. Okay. I'll give you a small hint. The letter E is there, right? E is representing a server. Okay. E is representing a server. Server is also a type of computer. Okay. Server is also a type of computer, right? Why is B on fire? I'll tell you. So when you take this computer called E, computer called, and these three computers, if all three of these computers are connected by a wire, okay, straight line means wire. Okay, if all these three devices are connected through a wire, what do you think this device should be? What is the device I already showed you where you can connect multiple devices to centralize here? Anna, correct. Yes, Aniston. Perfect. That's going to be a switch or hub. It can be either one of these two devices, and E is going to be the server. That's why it looks like that. Okay. So if you want to create a wired connection, we use something called as a server. Now you can see the phones. Here we have a dotted line. There should be a dotted line here as well. If you take dotted line represent a wireless connection. Okay. To have a wireless connection, we need something called as a router. In your house, you have Wi-Fi routers, right? So to create a wireless connection, we use a router. So C is representing a router. So keep in mind, if you want to connect multiple devices in a wired way, then you use something called as a switch or hub. If you want to connect in a wireless way, it's the router, Wi-Fi router. Is that clear? Got it? Wired way, switch or hub, wireless way, Wi-Fi router. Now next, when you're connecting to the internet, we learned earlier about someone called hackers, right? So if you want to protect your network from hackers, there is a device called as a firewall which you can use. So firewall is a device that can protect your network from something called as what do you call a hackers. Now you don't use this in your home networks, but let's say if you have an office like a very like a bank, or if you have some very big organization, in those big organizations, they might use this device called firewall to protect your device from, sorry, protect your network from hackers. Got it? So this is called the firewall and it protects you from hackers. And next, when you're connecting to the network, what happens is when you're connecting to the internet, for example, this is talking about a wired network. Like, for example, imagine at home you have wired Wi-Fi router. Okay. When you have wired Wi-Fi router, you all must notice the router, the wire, like let's say you're having SLT something wired Wi-Fi router, this wire might be connected to the lamp post. Okay. If you take a LAN phones, have you all noticed the LAN phones are also connected to that LAN post? Have you all noticed that? Those wired, if you're using SLT, the wired network, that wired network also will go for the LAN post. And if you take your LAN phones in your home, if you have, do you all know what is a LAN phone? This is a LAN phone, huh? So if you all take these LAN phones, the device phone like this, okay? If you take this, no, Samidun, you can't call that. If you take these LAN phones, as well as if you take these Wi-Fi routers as a wired, you might notice both of them are connected for that same place, okay? Same kind of place, right? That's because when the data is transmitted through that cable, that there's a cable which we use. If you notice properly, the cable that we use for those Wi-Fi router and the cable we use for the wired Wi-Fi router, not the wireless Wi-Fi router, I'm saying wired Wi-Fi router and LAN phone cable are same. So the problem we have is when you're accessing the internet, you can't use that, you can't transfer the data directly through that cable. So there is a device called modem. Okay, so A is representing a device called modem. So what this modem will do is modem will convert this data and send for the network. So for example, can you all remember in the beginning of the second lesson, we learned something called analog signals and digital signals. Hmm. So what this modem will do is modem can convert between analog and digital. So the problem is the data coming, this whole scenario, we are dealing with digital data. But the data that's coming from the telephone line cable is there, right? That cable is bringing you analog signals actually. So the analog signal that's coming from here and digital signal that's coming from here are converted here and there using this modem. I'll tell you in detail when you come for this lesson part. But roughly saying here, the data coming from the internet comes in the form of analog signal. Like again, only the wired one. Huh? There are a telephone line cable. Like if you have a cable for the wired network, that might come in an analog signal. So to convert from analog to digital data only, we have this device called modem. So the second question they're asking, describe the function of A, right? The function of A is basically to convert from analog signals to digital signals. Is that clear? Okay, so keep in your mind the telephone line cable, whatever data is coming, again, this is relevant only for wired Wi-Fi networks, huh? Or else if you have fiber optics also, you can notice that. Third question, write down two advantages and two disadvantages of using a company network. So advantage, you can just share, write anything you want. Like for example, you can share data easily. Then you can access several resources on the internet. Okay. Killer, you can mention any advantages that comes to your mind. Tell me some disadvantage of a network. Advantage, there are several. Some advantages we can say is you can share files easily with your friends. Another advantage is, apart from sharing files, you can also share resources. What I mean by share resources is, sometimes if you have a computer network, like in your school labs, so school office, you might notice there's only one printer for the office, but all the people in the office can print using that printer. It's like indirectly connected. Okay, so what happens is, I told you network, you can have devices, right? Apart from having devices, I can even go and connect a printer here. So if I go and connect a printer here, then all these four computers can use this printer. Okay, all these four computers can use this printer. So that's what I call as share resources. That's another example. Yes, advantage, you can say this: can access files, can share files, resources, can search for details. So you can take on video conferencing. Yeah, we're done, we're done. So in terms of disadvantage, the problem we have is the security issues. That is hackers. People can easily steal your data. That's one disadvantage, right? The security risk is a main disadvantage. Email is another advantage. Yes, scam is another disadvantage. Then also, you can have possible network breakdowns. Like for example, let's say if you're going to, if we are all of us are like basically dependent on online classes, then if there's a network issue, network breakdown, that means let's say the whole Sri Lanka, they have said here, they are to due to small issue, no one's network is working. So network breakdown can be a problem for all of us, right? That's another disadvantage. Is that clear, all of you? Okay. Because you all stayed till end of the class, there's a gift for you all. The gift is, so basically, you all will be getting the first few lessons now for the exam. Most of you will get the first three lessons, or else you all will be getting the 1, 2, and 6. So some of you are there who are Hijaz people, you all are getting until which lesson? What are lessons you all are getting? First five. Okay. So therefore, I'm sharing your the field tutes. These are the PDF versions of all the tutes. For example, if you go and click on the second lesson number 2 link, you will be getting this PDF. Wait, those links I gave you are short URLs. Wait. Let me open the website. Nothing, you will not be able to access those. You just save those links and keep you. And temporarily, that link might be showing a security issue. Let me fix it. Wait. Master. Where's master ID? To go and pray quickly. It's there no. Okay, I'll check the issue later. Okay, I will reshare the links for y'all. Because sometimes if you all open this link, it might show you as not secured. Okay, if it shows you're not secure, I'll just show you a loophole how you can bypass that not secure thing. That is, you just copy, paste. If it shows you all this not secured part, it's not showing. If it's not showing, then shape. Can you send the link to the group? Then everyone will get no. There is no something special no. I kept this so that you all get this one. Only if the people who stay till end has this. Okay, I'll give you something extra. I'll give you all my notes. Every subject notes are there. Math, science, English, history. Boom. This link has all subject notes. This is my notes. Okay. Anyways, I'll go and pray. I have only 6 minutes. I'll quickly pray and come. Those who have any questions or can stay and ask. And from 7:30 onwards, I'll discuss any questions you'll have. Okay. Yeah, I have shared in the chat. You can take it. Why do you have other subject notes? I used to make notes, man. You can see these are my science notes. Thing. Yeah. The reason why I ask you all to what do you call keep your notes and all neat and nice is because this is how I keep my notes, man. This is my notes. Anyways, I have only 5 minutes to pray. At 7:30, I'll discuss questions. Those who have any question, you can stay. You can also go and pray and come. At 7:30 onwards, I'll discuss your questions. Okay. I'll be back. Wait, I'll come and reply your message in chat. Okay, I'm back. Anyone have any questions? Shaz, what was it help you wanted? Exactly, Nusrat. Can resend the favorite tude links. Yeah, I'll resend. Wait. Shaz, drop me a message in WhatsApp. I'll send it to you. Yeah, the class is over. Those who have any questions or can stay and ask, I'll reply questions before I end the meeting. Effective method to study any subject, I would say, is past papers. Do majority, like try doing past papers again and again and game over. You have papers of Chinese. Yeah. As I know, I do have. Let me send. Can I also get the links? Those who have issues in getting from the Zoom chat, you WhatsApp me and I'll send it. I can text, but you still didn't see my last message. I'll check. I'll check. Remind me the class to check. I'll check. 2019. I had Chinese papers. Oh, Chinese. I have only one paper. Sorry.com. I'll reply. Inshallah, coming soon. What about the short notes? I send links personally. Okay, I'll make a better way of how you can get these links because I'm lazy to send anyways. Check messages. So if you want to check, I'll give you another option. Another option is let's go to the Master Online website. Master Online website. In the Master Online website, I will uh, yeah, I do reply, but I'm very fast sometimes. So shape can come. What are the best methods? You don't study past, but you do practice past papers. Um, New folder. They call extras. And what I'll do is I'll put the file inside this and keep create file. I'll check. I'll check. Manas. Trace those links. Any subjects you have to pass papers, man. Not pass papers, you can't get the marks. I just made a basic, very fast website. Um, let's see how is it there. Mastonline.lk/extras. Extra, so extra, then. Extra. Let me just a bit modify it. Wait, you don't have any questions regarding what we learned today, like ICT? You all have any extra other random questions? Yeah, I'll check, Shada. I'll check. You can go to the website and view the notes. Yeah. Give me a moment. I'm doing something weird. Wait. Dick. What's your overall results? I got, I think, 5A, 1B, 3C. Mine was just an average results, man. I don't play games, Raya. That's because I hated three subjects. You will not find subjects for notes for his. You will find notes. I hated three subjects, so I did not do those. I didn't study those subjects. I ignored it. That C was basically Kanapar. I doubt how did I get the C even. The C subjects. Yeah, history is one of them. Correct. Science, I like history, Sinhala, and literature. Literature I like, but I was lazy to write, so I didn't write in the paper. Okay, there's a small correction. What I'm going to do is master IT.lk. Copy. Find. You have option to replace. Yeah, recent the tutoring. Wait, I'm doing some more modification. That's what I'm doing at the moment, man. Like this, I'm just creating a whole simple website. You even get it. It's nothing big. It's just a very basic, simple website. Master IT.lk. This should be replaced with master online.lk. Master online.lk. Yeah, so basically, if you go for this website called masteronline.lk/extra. Boom. Yes, masteronline.lk/extra. That will give you all the links. I'll just create another one more link for random notes. Let me add this link also. Yeah, anyone having any questions regarding IT or anything regarding what we learned today? I do IT as well, man. I have my own freelancing companies. What is the best way of studying? Simple, past papers, past papers, past papers. There's three steps of doing past papers. First step, do you just look at the textbook and answer the questions. Second step, without the textbook, answer the question. Maybe you can correct your, if you don't know, you can like do alone. Whatever you don't know, go and check. Third time, do the paper completely alone. But at the end of the day, the more and more questions you do, the more and more perfection you get. There is no point of just studying by heart in theory without doing questions. So when you do questions, or you will learn how the theory is tested, what are the theories tested, and you will know how to study. So my suggestion is do as much as possible questions. What do you mean by understanding? While you're doing questions, you will get the hang of it. You're in the process of finding the answers. Again, don't go and find answers from Google or your friends or teachers or whatever. Try to find your answer alone. Wait, let me just change the whole website. Lesson number 6, blah, blah, blah. One more small change. Copy, paste, done. Copy. Okay, done. Yeah, you all can leave early. I'm waiting for you all to ask the question. None of you are asking question later lesson. Boom. I changed the whole website. Okay, this has all subject notes. And you go here, all subject notes. And then if you click on this, first lesson, second lesson, third lesson, fourth lesson, fifth lesson, sixth lesson. Done. If you go for that same website, I updated the whole website now. If you click on this, you get the second lesson notes. What is it, Samuel? Just you can remember the link. What does NIC do in a network? NIC allows you to connect to a network. Like for example, in your laptop, you have the ability to search for Wi-Fi networks, right? In laptops and computers, you can go and search for Wi-Fi networks, right? Nearby Wi-Fi networks. If you don't have the NIC, you can't do it. NIC is the one who allows you to search for networks. So NIC allows you to connect to network. Without NIC, imagine NIC like antenna. Without that, you can't go and search for networks. Like in a TV, you have antenna, right? Without the antenna, you just having the TV is worthless. So NIC is like that. It's network interface card. No questions? We'll end the meeting. Okay, as there's no other questions, I'll end the meeting then. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Good luck with the exams, and I hope you do all resources. If there's any WhatsApp message I should check, yeah, I will check. And yeah, sorry for the delay. I just dragged the class, I think half an hour extra. So yeah. But again, we started half an hour delay because of this technical issues in the beginning. But yeah, walaikum salam.